Welcome, welcome. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the 12 tribes. I hope everybody's doing well today. I hope everybody is doing well. Y'all know this past week has been very eventful for me and my family. So I want you all to know and be assured, however, that the lessons, scriptural lessons, will continue to come forth. We live in a time right now where we must continue to persevere, endure. We must continue to do the work that was called for us to do. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Let's see. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I see that my microphone appears to be working. So we're going to get into this lesson. This is going to be a very controversial lesson, particularly amongst Hebrew Israelite uh, watchmen, particularly amongst Hebrew Israelite camps. There seems to be a doctrine going around right now that Israelites are Gentiles. Okay, there's this doctrine going around today. I'm seeing it in the street. I'm seeing it taught amongst camps that Hebrew Israelites by blood are Gentiles. And what I want to do is bring some clarity to this. I think in the heat of the moment, when our brothers are out there on the street, as well as well, let me just talk about that first. In the heat of the moment, when brothers out there on the street and they're preaching and prophesying, they want to get straight to the point and cut, as they say, and as we like to say in our community, in regards to dispelling certain scriptural perspectives. Okay. And there are many scriptural perspectives. This is where doctrines come from. Okay. And some of these doctrines are edifying, others you have to look at uh, with as clear a lens as possible, and then work through the edification as the Spirit leads you, as the Ruach leads you. Okay. And so these some doctrines are not necessarily clear, is my point, while others are clear and leaves little to question about what's actually being said. Okay. When it comes to this doctrine that Hebrew Israelites are Gentiles, however, there's a lot that is not said in regards to this situation. And after I've looked at this carefully, it appears that there's a lot of bitterness involved with these statements. Many of our brothers and sisters, especially our brothers who have come into the truth, do not like the idea of the oppressor and do not like the idea of those who have uh, captured us, okay, to also be included in the new kingdom, okay? Okay. And so this is where the bitterness comes from. You'll see an exclusivity being shared amongst the camps in that only Hebrew Israelite people will be in the new kingdom, and everyone else will simply go to waste and be killed or destroyed in thermonuclear war. Okay. Now, the part to that statement that I have to also disclaim on is that there is truth to that. Okay. There's truth that the majority of the world will be lost to intercontinental ballistic missiles in the form of nuclear war. Okay. Thermonuclear war. That is what appears to be a true statement. However, even in the number of true Gentile people that are destroyed, there will also be, unfortunately, a great number of Israelite people who are lost in that as well. Okay. And when it comes to the new kingdom, there will be Gentiles in the new kingdom, along with the majority of Hebrew Israelite people. Now, like I told you when I started this live stream, this will be controversial amongst Hebrew Israelites who believe otherwise. And for the Gentile people who should happen to watch this live stream, whether they be now or later, this will also perhaps be controversial for you as well, because you haven't been taught how Gentile people will be in the new kingdom. Okay, and this is something that's very important to grasp, and I might have to bring the whiteboard out for this one. So let me get my whiteboard ready, because you might need to see this truth on the whiteboard. Okay, so at that time, I will bring it out if that's how I'm led to do so. But I think that you'll need to see this, because the Gentiles have a special position in the kingdom, the new kingdom. Okay, but it might not be what your Christian pastor taught you it will be. Okay, the same way we have a hierarchy in this kingdom that is overrun by Satan and in control of Satan right now, we will also have a hierarchy in the new kingdom to come, but it will be in control of the Most High, okay, through Yahshua. Now, this is something that your Christian pastor might not have taught you or shared with you. So, this is where the controversy is going to come in. And this is where it might be uncomfortable at times to actually understand what's being brought forth. But the whole point of this lesson is to clarify that Hebrew Israelites are not Gentiles, but due to our own proclivities and then our captivities, we had followed after the ways and walked after the ways of Gentiles. But walking after the ways of Gentiles does not mean that we are Gentiles by blood. Okay. There are people on the earth who are Gentiles by progeny, by descent, ancestral descent, just like we are the Hebrew Israelites by progeny, because we are the descendants of Jacob, whose name was turned to Israel and his wives. Okay, so this is what makes us Israelites. Then we descend from one or many of the sons of Israel. This is what makes us children of Israel. We have been scattered to the four corners of the world. We are the true Hebrew Israelite people by blood. We cannot be Gentiles by default. If we were not Hebrew Israelites by blood, then by blood we would be Gentiles. Okay? Now, one of the reasons we were placed into captivity and spread through the four corners of the world is because the law, statutes, and commands of Yahweh, the Most High, were not suitable to our forefathers and foremothers. The law, statutes, commands, and ordinances were not something that our people, even after receiving, cleaved onto for the longevity of our being. Okay. In other words, when we receive the law, statutes, and commands in times of antiquity, our forefathers and foremothers decided not to move in accordance to those law, statutes, and commands, and instead sought to do the actions and walk after the ways of the Gentiles or of the nations that were round about us. And we were not supposed to do that. We were supposed to be a light unto the nations, meaning that the nations were supposed to follow after what we were doing. We were not supposed to follow after what the nations were doing. Okay. It's similar. This is how I like to analogize this. It's similar to your parents having laws and rules for your home. Okay. Laws and rules for your home. Then, in disobedience, you invite friends over to your parents' home and began to follow after the way that your friends are moving or would move in their home, inside of your home. Okay. There's going to be a punishment for that. Under no circumstances are we to bring outside influences into our homes and then allow those outside influences to overtake the influence of our parents who set forth the rules, regulations of the home that they have paid for, of the home that they have prepared for you. And see, that's what happened with our people. Our people were giving a home. Our people were given a land, a set apart land. Our people were given a boundary and borders to dwell within. Okay. But that wasn't good enough for our people. Our people then, after being placed into those lands, looked around and still wanted to be and do like after the Gentile nations who were round about. Okay. So we're going to get into the scriptures about this, and um, we're going to get into the book of Isaiah. Okay, and we're going to read from uh, the book of Isaiah, chapters 58, piece of 58, all the way through. I'm thinking we might just go all the way through to 66. Okay, so it's gonna be a power pack lesson. But before I do that, I wanna I wanna share a small excerpt for you. Okay, in Hebrew and in Greek, the word literally means nations. What's this word? Gentiles. Okay, the word Gentiles in Hebrew and in Greek literally mean nations, and it's funny because Grecians are Gentiles as well. But a large part of the so-called New Testament was written in Greek because many of our people were in Greece. I wonder why. We were following after the ways of the Gentiles even at that time. Okay. So our people had to receive the so-called New Testament or New Covenant writings, okay, uh, Brit Kadash, in Grecian language. I'm going to do my best not to speed through this lesson. I want a certain rhythm. I'm hoping for a certain rhythm to be conveyed, okay? Because there are some great misconceptions in today's time. Um, those misconceptions, from what I can tell, have everything to do with bitterness toward the Most High, still, believe it or not. You know, in multiple live streams, I speak about how when a parent has to discipline us, it's up to us not to get mad at the belt that's whooping us. And it's up to us not to get mad at the parent who is correcting us by using the tool called the belt to inflict discipline upon us physically. Okay. Whenever we do something wrong and we're getting a righteous punishment for that, it's important for us to look at ourselves. It's important for us to analyze ourselves. And what did we do? What action did we take? What action did we commit in order to receive the punishment that is now being exacted upon us? That's the only way that we fall into correction. Okay. If I get corrected, or if I'm punished in an effort to correct me because of something that I did that went against the rules and regulations of my mother or my father, my earth parents, then they have to correct me. And if I take that discipline the wrong way and I continue in my stiff necked and hard headed way, I will then become an enemy to my parents. I will make myself an enemy to them, okay, because I will refuse to accept their correction and look at their correction as some form of physical violence against me that is unprovoked. When in reality, I provoked the violence, the physical correction. Okay. I don't want to say violence because that's how the incorrect mind would perceive that correction. Okay. Instead, it is a form of correction if I don't look at will be perceived as violence on my part, which I will then internalize and make myself an enemy to those who are correcting me. Okay. I should instead look at that correction as a form of love because I did something that went against the regulations of my earth parents who established regulations in order to guide me a certain way. We're talking about righteous people now. Okay. Righteous correction. And that righteous correction was to serve as a means to correct me and grow me up straight and not crooked. Now, if I can analyze that correction correctly and I can look at what caused it correctly, meaning an action that I committed against those who set the rules and regulations in order to keep me moving a certain way, then I won't look at the whooping stick, the switch, the belt as something that's a weapon used against me for the sake of just me being in existence. Instead, I would say, you know what? I messed up when mama told me not to have that friend over. Or I messed up when I didn't do the dishes. I messed up when papa told me to go out there and shovel up the dog poop or mow the lawn before he got home. I was supposed to do those things. I messed up when I sat in the classroom and I disrespected the teacher and was acting a class clown and they had to come up to the school. Okay. That was on me. I messed up. I was influenced a certain way, but I still allowed that influence to be such a part of me that I decided to move toward the way of the influence that was incorrect versus the influence that was correct. This is how we're supposed to really take our chastisement and punishment. And this is why I know we still have a lot of healing and a lot of analyzation that we have to do, a lot of self-analyzation. One thing as teachers that's important, I'm talking to the men of Israel. One thing that's very important, men of Israel, first of all, we have to see what time of day we're in. We have to remember that the time is being shortened right now on behalf of the elect. The elect are the men and women and children of Israel who have repented. Okay. Now, listen to me carefully. As men, if we do not look at that whooping that we have received by being placed into captivity, by being taken from our families, by being ostracized at all levels of the community, from our children, our women, to those so called managers, general managers, service people, employers, corporations, government, if we don't begin to look at why this is happening to us as men first, we will continue to not learn the lesson and we will continue to move away from healing as opposed to moving closer toward that healing and toward the light and toward the face of the Most High. This is very important. Another thing that's important about teaching is that there is a righteous form of anger. And from what I can tell and ascertain within myself, however, I use that anger to fuel me into service. Okay, I hope you heard what I said. I use that anger to fuel me into service of the Most High. Okay, into the service of the Most High. That's how I use that anger. Okay, I don't use that anger, however, to dim my light. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. I don't use that anger to dim the light that has been placed within me. I use it to inspire and motivate me to further correction. I use it to inspire and motivate me to do and walk in the ways of Yahshua Mashiach. I use it to move me and inspire me and motivate me into the ways to be the living representative and ambassador of the Most High Yahweh in this place today. Okay? That is what will set you apart. That is what will cause the nations to ask you, who are you? And why do you walk the way you do? And you should give an answer. That is what will inspire our people to want to go back and cleave unto the ways of the Most High. That is what will inspire our people to ask, brother, why are you walking the way you walk? Why you talk the way you talk? Sister, why are you moving the way you move? Because I know that I was faulty and now I've been corrected. I've recognized the correction in love, and now I am moving in love. What is that love? Love is moving in the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. That is how we know we love the Most High, when we do the law, statutes, and commands and make them second nature to our being here on this earth. That's the whole reason we fell into captivity, because we refused to do the law, statutes, and commands and ordinances of the Most High and make them second nature to our everyday life. Okay. But that in no way makes us Gentile people. Okay. On the contrary, we were given the law, statutes, and commands by the Most High because we were a chosen people by the Most High. The Most High did not choose the Gentile nations, and this is where it will hurt. Those of you who are not Israelite people who should come across this lesson, this live stream, that might hurt. There's one chosen people on this earth, and that is the Hebrew Israelite people. Not even all Hebrew people are chosen people of the Most High, only the Israelites. Okay. And this is something that needs to be cleared because the Gentiles will have their place in the new kingdom, but it is not going to be how many people have been taught and what many people might think. And those Gentile nations who do not adhere to this understanding, they will eventually be called out, they will be separated, and on the day of the Most High, they will be destroyed. I hate to have to say it like that. But these are the tenets of truth that have to be shared. Okay. Why? Because if the Gentile nations understand the truth and can accept the truth, then they can cleave unto the house of Israel and be spared that thermonuclear warfare. Okay. They have to be given a chance as well. And this is where the light of the world coming through the men of Israel must shine brightly. Okay. A lot of our people forget that it wasn't due to the Israelites, our forefathers and foremothers, falling away from the law, statutes, commands, and ordinances of the Most High that brought sin into this world. How did sin enter into this world? Sin entered into this world through Adam. This is what we seem to forget at times. Sin did not begin with the Israelites. Sin meaning the transgression of the law. The first statement and law statement that was given from the Most High, recorded in scriptures, comes through the Most High to Adam. Okay, to Adam in the garden. And it was Adam who broke the law, statutes, and commands that was originally given to man from the Most High to Adam. That is how sin entered into the world. And it is through Adam that all of the people on earth came through. The modern people today come through Adam. Okay. So sin entered into the world through Adam, and all of the children that came from Adam and his descendants inherited that sin. But there's a people who descended from Adam, all of those people who also descend from Adam, to be the forebearers and ambassadors of the Most High here on earth. And those people were called Hebrew Israelite people. Okay. So it's very important that we remember how things actually took place so that we can make sense of what's going on right now today. Okay. This is very, very crucial to your learning. This is crucial to your acceptance of the truth. Okay. Let me, I'm going to read this excerpt, and then what we're going to do is we're going to first go into the book of Lamentations. Okay. So get your Bibles together, and I can tell you right now that we're going to the book of Lamentations, chapter 5. Okay, but before we go there, I'm going to read something. Gentiles in Hebrew and in Greek, okay, the word literally means nations. Yisrael is a nation, but is not numbered among the nations. We read that in Bemidbar, which is numbers. Okay, I'm going to be reading some Hebrew names for the books of the Bible. Okay, so just bear with me, but I'll make sure that I say the English, the anglicized name of the Hebrew names as I read them. Okay, so you can follow along or at least take note. So Gentiles in Hebrew and in Greek, the word literally means nations. Yisrael is a nation, but is not numbered among the nations. Bemidbar, or Numbers chapter 23, verse 9. It is for this reason the word nation or nations are used for those outside of covenant with Yahweh. Okay. So, who were the people who received the covenant of Yahweh? Who are the people who received the covenant? Because modern day Christianity will have you fooled thinking that everyone is a child of God. Okay. The children of God, or the children of Eloah, the children of Yahweh, are the Hebrew Israelite people who received the covenant of Yahweh through Moshe, or through Moses. Okay? I need, listen, we need to properly and rightly dissect the word. Okay? This is very crucial to your understanding and growth. Welcome everybody to the live stream. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for liking the video or liking the stream so far so that it can spread through the algorithms on YouTube. Thank you very much. And you know that's how it works on YouTube, so that's why I did like that. All right, but that's no knock on the y'all. I truly love y'all and I appreciate y'all. Okay, so this is what we got to do. We have to break the word down. Not only precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, but we also must read in between. Some of the truth hurts. You know, I like to say truth is like an onion. The more you peel back, the deeper you go in that onion, the more tears you're going to cry. The truth hurts, but it's a temporary hurt. It's the lies that hurt for eternity, especially if you refuse to receive the truth. Okay? I hope y'all are hearing this. All right? We're going to get to it, though. We definitely getting to it. We read that Israel is a nation, but is not numbered among the nations, okay, or the Gentiles. Bemidbar, chapter 23, verse 9. That's Numbers 23:9 for those who don't know Hebrew. It is for this reason that Yisrael is rather referred to as a people, whereas the word nations, nation, or Gentiles are used for those outside of covenant with Yahweh. In scripture, the word nations has the meaning of non-Israelites or non-Yehudim, non-Israelites or non-Yehudim. Okay, Yehudim is another word for Jews or those of Judah. Okay, Yisraelites are those who are of the northern tribes of Yisrael. All are Israelites. All 12 tribes are Israelites. But during the time of Rehoboam and Jeroboam, the kingdom was split in two. Okay, so you have the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. Okay, but all are children of Israel in those two groups. Okay, Solomon was the last king to rule over both, to rule all the Israelites. Okay, northern and southern kingdoms. Okay, so follow along with the context. That's why I said I want to talk slowly, but I have to speak fluidly at the same time. Okay. You can always replay this live stream and get the points that you might have just missed or parts that you need to go back to in order to clarify for yourself. Because ultimately, let me put this disclaimer out. You know, we're in a crazy time where censoring is about to take place at a rampant rate. We know that free speech is on its way out, and we know that the control mechanism of the so-called elite are seeking to silence the true Yehudim, the true Israelites from speaking and spreading the truth to the four corners. Once we spread the truth to the four corners, why is this the end game for the so-called elite? Once the truth is in the four corners, this is when the day of the Most High will be coming. It's the end of the satanic kingdom as we know it. The truth must go to the four corners of the world. So the so-called elite are going to do anything in their power to keep us quiet, to keep us our lips shut, to keep us from talking, to keep us from spreading the truth. And unfortunately, some of our people, primarily our men, are still filled with bitterness and anger because of what we see and what we have gone through as a people. Okay. But that does not give us an excuse to teach the word biasly from where there are not already distinctions within the word. And the word will show us those distinctions itself. We don't have to be biased in the truth. All we have to do is deliver the truth. And yes, it cuts. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's difficult to accept at times, but the truth shall set you free. Israelite and Gentile alike. Okay. And this is something that we need to truly, truly, truly understand and understand if we're going to move forward. But the truth must spread to the four corners of the world before this thing is shut down. That's why the elite, the so-called elite, are running to and fro, just like their father, the devil, seeking whom they may devour, seeking whom they may destroy, shutting up whoever they can shut up, shutting down whoever they can shut down. Okay. But we, as men of Israel, we will not give up. We will not give in. We were born champions. We were made to win. All right. And we must continue to persevere and endure. This is the day that we will rise up. We're rising up right now, but we must rise up in truth. And like I say, and like the scriptures say, in love. Again, what is love? I'm not talking about romance. I'm sorry, lovebirds. I'm not talking about Chris Brown's Lovey Dovey and T-Pain. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that emotion where Cupid shoots you in the booty and then you start having hearts in your eyes. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about that. That is a romanticized, false interpretation of what love is, as Most High has decreed it. Love is the keeping of the law, statutes, and commands and ordinances of the Most High. That is true love. And unfortunately, for those who adhere to the true love of the Most High, but unfortunately for those who don't, it is very difficult to accept that. Oh, because that means my idea of love, that idea that I taught, that idea of love that I learned from the Gentile nations, oh, that was the one that made me just feel so good and warm inside. That made me feel so great. That made me feel so beautiful and so handsome. And I can go and sing under the moon and under the stars. That's not the same type of love that the Most High is talking about, though. The love that the Most High is talking about holds us accountable. The love that the Most High is talking about, it makes us walk upright. The love that the Most High is talking about makes us turn away from the ways of the world, makes us turn away from the mindset of the Gentile nations, and makes us cleave back unto the ways of the Most High. And the Gentile nations have fun. Oh, yeah, the Gentile nations know how to have fun under this Satan ran kingdom. And that's what many of us seek to adhere to. It was like that with our forefathers and foremothers, and it's even like that, unfortunately, in the places of our captivity. But the fortunate thing about that is because there was one people who would be spread throughout the four corners of the world into captivity due to those proclivities to follow after the Gentiles, it would be those same people who would be wearing the signs of those curses within the captivity so we would know who we were. After we were taken, and after our names were taken, after our culture was taken, after our language was taken, after our lands were taken, we didn't know who we were. Every nation on earth, especially in this melting pot called America today, can leave America today and go back to the place of their forefather and foremothers, whether it be France, Germany, China, East India, Pakistan, Iran, uh, Ireland, Russia, England, Britain, you name it. These folks can go back to their land. We are the only people on earth who, when they say go back to Africa, Africa is 54 countries, and we didn't know where to go back to in Africa until modern time. We didn't know who we were. We didn't know where we came from. We didn't know our language. We didn't know our true names. But isn't it funny and ironic how we're still accused of having funny names in our community? Ain't no name like a so-called African American name. I don't care what you say. We got the what they call it ghetto fabulous names. No, those are Hebrew Israelite names. Okay. These are Israelite names that have trickled down, even though we had our language taken, even though we had our culture taken. There are aspects of who we are that is internal to who we are, genetic to who we are. Okay. And we never fully forgot, but we didn't understand, or overstand who we were and why we were placed in this land and spread throughout the four corners of the world until today. So it's very important that we understand this. I'm going to keep on reading this excerpt. Now, in a few instances, very few, Very few. Gentiles means many. Excuse me. This is where the misconception comes. It's those few instances that cause the misconception we see today that Israelites are Gentiles too. No, in those few instances where Israel is included with the Gentiles, it is all of those people who are walking after the mind of the Gentiles, whether they have been scattered, our forefathers and foremothers, whether we have been scattered amongst the Gentiles, or whether we sought to adopt the ways of the Gentiles instead of cleaving unto the ways that were given to us as an inheritance, the law, statutes, and commands given to us as an inheritance by the Most High. Okay, those are a few instances. But what I'm seeing in camps today is our camp brothers and sisters, brothers primarily, excuse me, are stating that Israelite people are actual Gentiles, implying that we are Gentiles by blood descent. And that is not true. Okay, that is simply not true. And that's actually quite damaging and dangerous because it doesn't delineate between the two groups. Okay, if Israelites are Gentiles, then who are the Gentiles? Okay, so this is why this is why we have to clear it up. Okay, and I'm not going to be laughing at this, but I that chuckle just had to come out of me a minute because when we begin to see what's really going on with this, then it's like, oh, okay, I get it, bruh. I get it. Us Hebrew Israelites by blood, some of us have walked after the ways of the Gentiles. And that's the context that the scriptures are talking about. But the Gentiles themselves, the true blood descendants of Gentile people, also have a place. Okay. And we got to get to it. So, again, in a few instances, the word Gentile means many or all nations, including Israel. The true believer is repeatedly admonished not to learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not learn the way of the Gentiles. In this decree, this request was made by Yahweh through Moses to the children of Israel. We read about that in Vayikra, which is Leviticus chapter 18, verse 3. Debarim, which is Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 30, and in chapter 18, verse 9. We read about this in Yirmiyahu, which is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. We read about this in Yehezkel, which is Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 12, and in chapter 18, verse 9. We read about this in the book of Micah, which is the book of Micah or Micah chapter for yourselves, because we're going to push through this lesson, and I still have to read these chapters out of Isaiah, which detail and showcase to us that the Israelite people are separate from the Gentile people, but that the Gentile people have an opportunity to convert, okay, and to be brought into the fold with Israel in the new kingdom. But the Gentile people will not be ruling with the Israelite people. And this is why I said I might have to bring out the whiteboard because it's going to cut. It's going to hurt the Gentiles a little bit. But if you can accept the truth of what the scriptures say, you're going to be better off than those of your people and even my people who will be destroyed and called away as tares. Okay? So we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it by the grace of the Most High. All right? So those who were Gentiles before they came to conversion are admonished to, quote, no longer walk as the Gentiles walk. We read about this in Corinthians, Aleph, which is 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2, or Ephesians, which is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 12, or Kepha, Aleph, which is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3. Therefore, those who were Gentiles, meaning real Gentile people, not Israelite people walking after the way of Gentiles, but actual Gentile people, meaning those of the other nations. Listen to this. Therefore, those who were Gentiles but came to believe, meaning who were converted, or who are grafted in among Israel, which we read in Romans chapter 11, verses 17 through 24, simply have to unlearn their old Gentile ways. okay, and come to the light of Zion. Who is the light of Zion? Well, the light of Zion is the word of truth as given through the men of Israel. We're going to read that, okay, because Yahshua told us as Israelite men that we were to be lights unto the world, and we will be a light unto the Gentiles as well. Okay. So if we are a light unto the world, this isn't talking about the Hebrew Israelite world, like I know folks like to bring out in the camps. This isn't talking about Gentiles, Hebrew Israelite people by blood who are walking after the ways of Gentiles. This isn't talking about those Gentiles, Gentile thinking people. No, no, no. This is talking about true non-Israelite Gentile people. Okay. Check this out. In Yeshayahu, okay, who is Yeshayahu? Yeshayahu is Isaiah. In Isaiah chapter 60, verse 3, and walk in the light, quote unquote, of the renewed Yerushalayim that we read in Hazon chapter 21, verse 24. Hazon is the book of Revelation, okay? They shall serve Yahweh. They shall love the name of Yahweh. They shall no longer defile the spot, and they shall hold fast the covenant of Yahweh. Yeshayahu chapter 56, verse 6. Yeshayahu is Isaiah chapter 56, verse 6. They shall come to the house of the Elohim of Jacob, of Jacob, to Zion, to Yerushalayim, and be taught the ways of Elohim, the Torah, the word of Yahweh. Yeshayahu chapter 2. That's Isaiah chapter 2, verses 2 through 3. And Micah chapter 4, verse 2, or Micah chapter 4, verse 2. So, what is the future of this unrepentant Gentile world in which we live today, who are outside of the covenant of Yahweh? There is no future for them. There is no future for them, none at all. We read about this in Yeshayahu chapter 34, verse 2, Isaiah chapter 34, verse 2, Yirmiyahu, or Jeremiah, chapter 25, verse 26 through 33, Yirmiyahu, chapter 30, verse 11, Yirmiyahu, or Jeremiah, chapter 46, verse 28, Daniel, chapter 2, verse 44, Daniel, chapter 7, verse 27, Amos, chapter 9, verse 8, Abediah, or Obadiah, okay, chapter 15, verses 15 through 21, we read this in Haggai, chapter 2, verse 22, Hazon, or Revelation, chapter 11, verse 15, and that's the chapters that I'll refer to you for right now in verses. Only Israel, living true to Torah, shall be saved. All right, salvation is for Israel. Okay, salvation is for the Israelites, the Yahudim. This is something the Christian pastor is going to teach you. Okay, the Christian pastor teach you that salvation is for the world. Salvation is for the Yahudim, for the Israelites. Okay, salvation from what? Salvation from this captivity, of course. Okay, salvation from the oppressor. Salvation from the satanic kingdom that has been established through the oppressor in order to keep Israel punished and chastised. Okay. We read about this in Yeshayahu, or Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. Okay. So only Israel living true to Torah shall be saved. Now, what does that have to do with Gentiles? Like we brought out earlier, if you read any of these chapters and verses in these books that I just referred to you, it's a lot. You'll see that the Gentile people have a special, and I'm going to say special, place in the kingdom, but it might not be what you think. All right. So, if you don't mind, let me take a swig of apple ziti real quick, swig of water. Shabbat Shalom to everybody joining the live stream today. What we're going to do, now that we have said that, let's go to the book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 7. Book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 7. Because we're not going to do like I say, we're not going to point the finger when we have three pointing back at us. Okay. So before we talk about the Gentiles and before we talk about what's going on with Israel for real, as far as the new kingdom, we have to talk about why, briefly, very briefly, why we're in this kingdom that we're in right now, in the position that we're in right now, as true Israelites, as true Yahudim, in this kingdom that is overrun by Gentiles. Why have we had our identities removed? Why have we had our language removed? Why am I speaking English and conveying my thought in a foreign tongue to you right now? This is not my tongue. This is the tongue I had to learn. By the grace of the Most High, I become a master of this language. Okay. How do we know that? How do we know I become a master of this language? You can listen to any songs I've ever written. Listen to my music. Listen to my music. Okay. I had to convey my music in the form of a foreign language that is not my own. And we took that language, I took it and I started rhyming words and conveying deeper metaphorical and analytical thought through my music. And my music is not in the language of my forefathers and foremothers. That's wild, ain't it? That's wild. But this would be a sign of who we were. And it's helping us identify who we are today. The book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 7 reads, "Our fathers sinned, they are no more. We have borne their crookedness. Servants have ruled over us. There was no one to deliver from their hand." Thank you for that, Awakened Goddess. Yes. Thank y'all for joining the live stream and thank y'all for hitting that like button. Okay. Let me read that again. Lamentations or Ekah. Okay. Ekah is Lamentations in Hebrew. Our fathers sinned. They are no more. We have borne their crookedness. So people like to ask, well, because especially Gentile people like to ask, well, if salvation is only for Israel, then, or salvation is for the world. And then we have to rebuttal that with, no, salvation is only for Israel. All right. And they say, well, I didn't do anything. I'm here today. I don't have a problem with blacks. I don't have a problem with Indian people, Native Americans. I don't have a problem with Mexican people. I don't have a problem with anyone in the Caribbean. Yeah, my great grandfather and those guys, yeah, they were pretty cruel and wicked guys. Yeah, they're the ones who did all that slavery stuff. That wasn't us. That wasn't me. I didn't do any of that. I'm a hard worker. I go to work every day, to college. I went to the military. I got out. I made a way for myself. And I'm here now. I don't have a hate bone in my body towards you folks. I love blacks. That's yeah. Have y'all ever heard that before? Have y'all ever heard that before? And what we have to say as Hebrew Israelite men to that is that, well, wait a second. We personally, we didn't break the law, statutes, and commands that was given to our forefathers and foremothers during the time of Moshe. We didn't break any law, statutes, and commands. I was born in 1985. I didn't break any law, statutes, and commands when I was born, but my forefathers and foremothers did. So I was born into what? I was born into captivity. I was born into the punishment that my forefathers and foremothers received, and I inherited that punishment until the truth was to go across the four corners of the world and we was waking up as a people. And not only me, but my brothers and my sisters as well. We didn't originally break the law, statutes, and commands, but our fathers have borne sin. Check this out. That's what we just read in Lamentations 5, verse 7. Our fathers sinned. They are no more. We have borne their crookedness. Now, Gentile nations were always supposed to be our servants. Gentile nations were always supposed to be subordinate to the children of Israel. This is where it's going to hurt. Modern day Christian folks who tune in, modern day Gentiles who tune in, who don't know the position of yourselves. This is where it's going to hurt. But I'm going to tell you in love. That means I'm going to tell you according to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. I'm going to tell you according to the scriptures. I'm not going to tell you according to my own opinion. Okay? I'm just going to tell you the real. And it's going to hurt, but it's going to be all right. Okay? Our fathers sinned, talking about the Hebrew Israelite forefathers. But we were born into that crookedness. We were born into their crookedness. And that's why we're still in captivity. Okay? So in response to the so-called white guy, he says, well, I didn't do anything. I didn't have any slaves. I don't even own any land today. I didn't do that. That was my great-great-grandfather. You are now born into their crookedness. Okay? You are going to be born into their punishment. Okay? Because they got a punishment coming too. It seems like they didn't receive punishment yet, though. Why? Because everywhere we look, so-called white folks are running and ruling and doing what they want to do. They're the so-called elite of the world right now, right? They're the ones who make the ordinances and laws. They're the ones who run government. They're the ones who are operating the world systems right now. They're the ones who are controlling resources. They're the ones who are controlling finances. They're the ones who are not relinquishing that control over us as a people. They are the ones who have written the Constitution that we all have to adhere to in this land today. They're the ones who have not altered that Constitution and rectified it to no longer say that so-called African Americans are only 3/5 of a human being. It's still there. It's on the books. Sorry about that. I didn't write that stuff. I didn't even Torah. I didn't write Tanakh. I didn't write the scriptures. Okay. I was just born into this. The same way you were born into this. The same way you were born a Gentile, I was born a Hebrew Israelite. I was born into captivity. You were born into freedom. I'm not going to sit up here and be mad at you for that. This is why I preface this live stream once again with I'm not going to point one finger at you and three are pointing back at me. Okay? I was born into captivity because my forefathers sinned and transgressed the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High given to our people. That's just how it happened. I could have been born to any other nation. I could have been born amongst Gentiles or as a Gentile amongst Gentiles, but I wasn't. I wasn't. I was born a Hebrew Israelite who didn't know his name, who didn't know his culture, who didn't know what people he came from, who born right there in the hood, right there on the block, right there in the gutter, right there in the grimy of the grime, okay? Right there in the so-called inner city, okay? My music at night was boom, 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 boom. That's where I'm from. I'm from pop, 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 pop. Everybody get on the flow. That's where I'm from. Okay. So let's just keep it in perspective. All right. As we read these scriptures, because we have to realize that there really is a separation. The Most High separated his people for a reason. But when we were separated, we still wanted to go back and be like the Gentiles. Okay. But we're here today because our father sinned and we have borne their crookedness. And it's okay. It's okay. We still have the breath of life in us and we are being corrected now. But the point of this conversation, one of the points that I have to continue to drill home is that under no circumstances should we necessarily be bitter towards the chastisement and punishment that the Most High decreed over our people when we were spread to the four corners of the world into captivity. This is the part that us Hebrew Israelite folks have to really, really get over. We have to get over it. We have to get over it. Some of us did live in that time and have been born again into this time. Yes, reincarnation is a real thing. I'm not going to get into reincarnation fully right now. But some of us are the prophets of old. Some of us are our forefathers back here today. Some of us are our foremothers back here today. hmm I'm not going to get into reincarnation heavily, not in this live stream. That's for another day. But just know that some of us ain't new to this at all. Some of us ain't new to this at all. People be like, I'm gonna come back from, because the scriptures tell us that people are identified and synonymous with trees in the scriptures. Okay. But so that's funny. In a sense, they not telling a lie, but they don't know the context. They're talking about coming back like an actual tree. No, we come back according to our bloodline. Okay. We don't come back. If you was a Hebrew Israelite before, you will be born a Hebrew Israelite again. If you was a Gentile before, you will be born a Gentile again. You don't start off Chinese, an ancient Chinese person, and then come back as a Hebrew Israelite person, or come back as a British person, or come back as a Grecian, or come back as a Roman. Okay. So this is where modern ideas of reincarnation are faulty. So it makes people be like, what's going on? But no, it's a movie. As a matter of fact, it's a movie with Mark Wahlberg, side note, and he comes back. I forget the name of it. It's a new movie, but he keeps coming back. One time he was a samurai. Another time he was an African person. I'm looking at this like, hold on, bro. That's misinformation right there. That's folly. You come back according to who your father was originally, according to who your mother was originally. I mean, the ancestor people, or the people that worship. Oh yeah, I clear that up for me, and we'll talk about that. But let's get back to the to the topic at hand. Let's get back to the topic at hand. The Most High also tells us He don't like a false balance. Okay, Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1. Let me go to Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1 real quick, because this is what people have a hard time grasping. A false scale, Proverbs 11, verse 1, or Mishle, chapter 11, verse 1. A false scale is an abomination to Yahweh, but a perfect weight is His delight. Okay? So, just like the Hebrew Israelite people today. Oh, Infinite. Thank you, Awakened God. Infinite. Yeah, that Mark Wahlberg movie, that movie crazy, y'all. He come back as all kind of people. He come back as all kind of people he ain't never been in his life. Okay? And the whole concept of reincarnation is you come back according to your bloodline. Okay? Okay? So anyway, let's get off of that. I told you it's a whole nother conversation. The book of Mishle, of Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1, tells us a false scale is an abomination to Yahweh, but a perfect weight is His delight. So what does that mean? Well, it means a couple things. Within the context of punishment and chastisement, those who carried over with us in captivity in that very nasty Willie Lynch way, okay, that shadow slavery, that rape, that lynching, that poverty, that oppression, that stealing of language and culture, okay, that removing of language and culture, that overcorrection with the whip, that breaking apart of our people by tying our men, the strongest of our men, to horses and ripping our bodies apart, that taking our babies and ripping them from the gut of our foremothers and feeding them to alligators. All of that was wrong, y'all. That was wrong. There have been captivities since the beginning of the world, but the world has never seen that brutal form of chattel slavery ever. Okay. We could have been in captivity, being chastised by the Most High, as was uh, documented to happen, as was prophesied to happen, if we fell away from the law, statutes, and commands. And that captivity could have been easy on us. It could have been something where, yes, we're taken away from our homeland. Yes, we have to serve, but Massa could have paid us a little wage. Massa didn't have to rip our babies out of our mother's wombs. Massa didn't have to wait for our mamas to give birth and then sell the baby away. Massa didn't have to do those things. I told y'all it's going to hurt. This live stream isn't all hunky-dory and peaches and cream and tiptoeing through the tulips. Okay? We have to get to the bottom of this, and we have to be able to see, wait a second, what's really going on? And I'm prefacing what I'm about to read out of Isaiah like this for a reason. The same way our forefathers fell into sin by transgressing the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High and were punished for that, is the same way that the Gentile nations who overdid and overstepped their boundaries with that chastisement are going to have to pay for that. The book of Revelation tells us those who lead into captivity shall what? Go into captivity. Okay? I'm telling y'all, the scriptures are telling y'all, I'm just a vessel conduit sharing the word with you. Okay? With those preface points, established, remember, you can always go back and read for yourself. With those preface points established, now it is time, I feel, to go into the book of Isaiah. Before we do that, let's go to Micah chapter 4, verse 2. That's Micah chapter 4, verse 2. And many nations shall come and say, come, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob, and let him teach us his ways, and let us walk in his paths. For out of Zion comes forth the Torah, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Okay. We shall even go to verse 3. And he shall judge among many peoples, and reprove strong nations afar off. They shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, now teach nor or neither teach battle anymore. So there's going to be a day when Gentile people from all over the world seek to cleave unto the house of Israel and seek to do and live in Torah, in the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. These same nations that would be quick to do warfare with one another, are going to take their spears and beat them into pruning hooks and their swords into plowshares. Now, what's a plowshare? A plowshare is something that you use for growing and cultivating grains. Okay. A pruning hook is a device that you use to prune away and harvest whatever grains and trees and branches that need to be cut away so that you can take the fruits thereof and then basket them or package them away. So no longer are weapons of war going to be utilized. Instead, we're going to see weapons of peace. Okay. And the nations of the world, the Gentile nations, true Gentile nations, are going to seek the face of the Most High as well. But they will have to seek it through the Jews, the true Yahudim, the true Israelites. And this is why it's so important for Israel, the true Israelites, to wake up. This is why it's so important for the men of Israel to study, to show thyself approved, to actually deliver the word of truth as a light to the world. This was prophesied to happen. Okay. Speaking of prophecy, now let's go into the book of Isaiah. This should be fun. This should be fun. This should be. All right. We might even go into the Apocrypha. We might even go into the Apocrypha just in case. Ooh, what do you know? Turn right to it. So we might have to go into the Apocrypha now because I just turned to it. Okay. Yeah, we might have to go into the book of second Maccabees, y'all. We might have to go into the book of second Maccabees, y'all. Yes. We might have to go into the book of second Maccabees. Give me a moment. Because I turned right to it. And A lot of folks don't know about these verses and these scriptures. Okay, but we're gonna get it. Let me mark this real quick because we're gonna deal with it. Give me one moment, y'all. It was just placed on my heart, and I think it's one of those important pieces of the narrative. Let me get a piece of paper real quick and mark this, just so I don't forget. It's kind of like putting a string around your fingertip. Okay, so you don't forget what groceries you're supposed to get. But if you forget why the string is around your fingertip, it don't matter, right? So I'm gonna be doing some reading now. So let me take one more swig. Two swigs. All right. Y'all ready to have some more fun? Leave me a one in the comment thread if you're ready to have some more fun with these scriptures. Leave me a one in the comment thread if you're ready to have some more fun on this Shabbat. Now, all right, all right. Amen to that. I say to that. Hallelujah to that. Okay. And welcome, Mama Kelly. You know, I always appreciate your presence. So thank you for joining us today. Now, for some of us, it's still the Shabbat. Some of us, it has moved into the new day. But we began this lesson on the Shabbat, so we're going to still consider it a Shabbat lesson for those who are in other places on the earth right now who are still in the Shabbat. Okay? So we've prefaced this discussion, bringing forth this truth with self-accountability, first and foremost. Okay? That's very important. Self-accountability. We have to stop putting our captivity and our punishment off on the other nations, on the Gentile nations, first and foremost. To be blunt, they were used as whipping sticks, forms of correction, and we were supposed to not be mad at them, not be mad at the belt, but be mad at ourselves for falling away from the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High given to us as his people. We just read in the book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 7, that our fathers, it was our fathers who sinned, our forefathers and foremothers, but primarily our forefathers, because the forefathers, our fathers, were supposed to be the covering of our women. Okay? Same thing happened with Adam. Adam failed to cover Eve, and that sin was not blamed on Eve, but through Adam. Okay? Then through Eve, she helped continue to birth all of those descendants through her body, which would carry that sin and propagate that original sin, the breaking of that first law, okay, in the garden, okay, and how the world, the nations of the world inherited Adam's sin. But then you have the children of Israel who were given specific laws, statutes, and commands to light to the to do according to what the Most High had requested of us. And we decided to go the way of the Gentiles. And for that, we were punished. We were punished greatly. We were spread to the four corners of the world. I now am part of that family of Hebrew Israelite people. I've always been. I'm here again. Okay. I'm here again. Like I said, we'll deal with reincarnation later on, but I'm here again. Just know that. And I've been born into my people again. And I'm still in the place of my captivity. I'm speaking a language that is foreign to me. I had to become a master of it. This is the English language. It is not a Hebrew tongue. It is not a Hebrew language. It is an Anglo-Saxon language. My last name that I inherited is not a name of Hebrew descent. It is the name of a plantation owner. Okay. So I hope y'all are hearing what I'm putting down. I hope y'all are picking it up. Okay. And I can say these things without any bitterness or angst in my heart. That's the key. When we as a people can acknowledge our chastisement, can acknowledge the punishment over us, and fully accept why it happened, we will be healed. And I think that's going to be the day that we return to the land. That when the truth will truly be have been spread throughout the four corners of the world. Because it's one thing to receive the message, like to actually get it in your hand. But it's another thing to open up the envelope. And it's another thing to read the words. And it's another thing to incorporate the meaning of those words into your being so you fully understand and understand. And that's why we say, listen and you hear me. Listen and you hear me. Okay. We can let words go in one ear and out the other, but that don't mean we actually is hearing. Okay. So this is very, very important, y'all. And I thank y'all for participating. Shout out Supreme J 22. Welcome to the live stream, family. I hope all is well on the home front for you. And I hope you is blessed and fulfilled on this Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom to you. Now let's get to it. I'm going to read, and as we read from the book of Isaiah, as the Spirit guides me to, I will break down the verses, but I need y'all to pay attention because we're going to see a separation of the Gentile people and the Hebrew Israelite people. And I'm going to disclaimer again, Gentiles who are participating in this live stream today, there are going to be some things said through the scriptures that you have not been taught in your church. Or if you've been taught, you have not been taught correctly, so you haven't been taught. Then you're not really being taught or edified. Okay. So there's going to be some things. Thus saith Yahweh, the Most High. Not thus saith Brother True Jew. I'm just the vessel who is presenting this to you so that you can be edified as well in understanding what the future holds for you. I'm reading to Israel because Israel have to get out of this misconception that we are also Gentiles. No, we are not Gentiles. Stop it. We're not Gentiles, y'all. Many of us have followed after the ways of the Gentiles. That's why we're in this position now, predicament now. But we are not Gentiles by blood. Okay? That's not how that goes. Okay? Before the Israelite people were even a people, before Israel, before Jacob was even born, before Isaac was born, before Abraham was born, the Gentile people existed. We read about that in the book of Genesis chapter 10. Okay. The sons of Japheth are all the Gentile nations. And that's important to contextually bring out as well. Okay. This is why we have to study. This is why it's so important for us to grasp the truth and allow the Most High to reveal, ask the Most High to reveal what that truth actually is. And then we have to be willing to accept it. Everybody's not an Israelite. Everybody's not an Israelite. Just like everybody's not a so-called Gentile running the world today. Most of my people was born in the hood. We wasn't born in Beverly Hills in the mansion. Okay, we wasn't born wherever else people is born. We wasn't no Hiltons and none of that. Okay, that's just our allotment in this lifetime. Many of us have had a difficult time accepting that. That's why we still chase after the ways of the Gentiles. We still want that little piece of change. A lot of us are willing to sell our soul and do something strange for a piece of change just to get that elevation amongst the Gentiles today. Leaving our people to the wayside, leaving us on the side of the curb, saying, man, I got to go this way with them. I got to get my piece of the American dream. I got to get my piece of the pie. You see what happened to Brother Ye? He had his little piece of the pie. They took all of that. Okay. Just because he decided, oh, I got to start speaking some forms of truth. Okay. So everybody in this modern time is born to whoever they're born. They're born into this place. I long accepted how I was born into this place. Day one of my birth, I was attacked by the devil because the devil knew that I was going to be doing this work of the Most High. And the way that the Most High was going to cause me to do was going to be a little bit different. The devil knew this. The devil been trying to knock and stop and drop me, but it ain't going to happen because the Most High got me. Okay? So Can I say that for everybody? You have to say that for yourself if it's true. That I've long accepted who I am, but our people as a whole are still having a problem accepting. Okay. And until we fully accept who we are, we're going to be in a place of our captivity, because it is the place of our captivity that is the sign to show us in this modern day who we are. Okay. So Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 reads, "If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath or the Shabbat a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahweh have spoken it." That is directly from the Most High. Okay? As I read these chapters in Isaiah, we're going to be reading what Yahweh, the Most High, has said. Thus saith Yahweh. Okay? Not thus saith true Jew. I want y'all to really pay attention. Okay? I want y'all to pay attention. Please, to the best of your ability. We have to keep the Sabbath holy. The Most High just told us that if we delight ourselves in Yahweh, that Yahweh will cause us to ride upon the high places of the earth, and will feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. Part of that heritage, the main part of that heritage, is the receiving of Torah, the law, statutes, and commands. Once we adhere to the law, statutes, and commands, even within our captivity, we will begin to be elevated as Hebrew Israelite people. Okay? But we will still have a responsibility to adhere to. Okay? Chapter 59 of the book of Isaiah, verse 1. Excuse me. "Behold, Yahweh's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear. But iniquities have separated between you and your heir, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies, your tongue hath muttered perverseness. None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. They hatch cockatrice eggs and the spider's web. He that eateth of their eggs dies, and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper. Their webs shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence is in their hands." We're talking about the children of Israel right now, who are quick to run into the iniquitous ways. What is iniquity again? Iniquity is the breaking and transgression of the law purposefully. Sin is the ignorant breaking of the law. Iniquity is knowing what the law is and choosing to purposefully deal in the breaking of the law, statute, commands. This is the reason our Israelite people were scattered across the four corners of the world into captivity, because we literally knew the law, statutes, and commands, and we decided to go the way of the Gentile. But just because we went the way of the Gentile does not mean, again, that we are Gentiles by blood. No, we are Hebrew Israelite by blood, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Jacob's 4 wives, and their children, who are the 12 tribes of Israel today. Okay? Hey, just telling you what the Bible says. All right? Let's keep reading. Verse 7 of Isaiah chapter 59. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction are in their paths. The way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. Therefore is judgment far from us, neither doth justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity, for brightness, but we walk in darkness. We grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday as in the night. We are in desolate places as dead men. This is the condition of our people today. Even as we wake up, the ones of us who wake up are now serving and acting as light to the rest of us who are in darkness, who are groping for the wall, as we just read, like the blind, who are still stumbling at noonday as in the night. Our people are still lost even to this day. Our people are still refusing to realize the truth. Our people, however, are also waking up, but it's a slow waking up. But we still have hope. We still have hope as long as we have the breath of life within us. But we must not squander this opportunity. That's why the men of Israel were asked to be watchmen. Cry aloud, spare not, raise up your voice like a trumpet, and show Judah and Israel their sins. This is important because if we can show you your sin, then that means we can show you that you are a Hebrew Israelite person. And if you are a Hebrew Israelite person, then you have an opportunity to repent and wake up. Okay? Verse 11 of Isaiah chapter 59. We roar all like bears and mourn sore like doves. We look for judgment, but there is none. For salvation, but it is far off from us. We look for judgment every day, right? Every time one of these police shoot down one of our brothers and sisters in the street and get off. Every time those juries are formed, and those juries do not look like any of us, and it's the all so-called white jury, and they sit up there and they deliberate deliberately or talk about us behind the scenes and then come back and present a verdict to the judge that is in no way just pertaining to the case that they are working. We looking for justice. We looking for it. We're looking for justice. We're looking for judgment, but there is none. For salvation, but it is far from us. We're still in the places of our captivity, even as we awake today. I'm delivering this message to you from within the borders of our captivity. I still have to deliver this message to you, not in Hebrew, but in English, because this is the language that we know in the of our captivity. I'm not speaking our father tongue. I'm not speaking the mother tongue. I'm speaking a tongue that is foreign to me, to you. Okay? But salvation is far from us. But salvation is also near. Check this out because we're waking up. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 12. Let's continue. For our transgressions are multiplied before thee, and our sins testify against us. For our transgressions are with us, and as for our iniquities, we know them. Now we're waking up. Now we're recognizing our transgressions as a people. Now we're beginning to see. Well, first, I have to see, oh, I'm an Israelite? Whoa, I'm a Hebrew Israelite? Yes, brother, you a Hebrew Israelite. Yes, sis, you a Hebrew Israelite. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So now I know my nation, but it don't stop there. Now I know who I am as a people, but it don't stop there. Now you have to ask the next logical question of, well, if I'm a Hebrew Israelite, why am I not in the land that the Most High set apart for us as a people? Why am I in this place as a descendant of slaves, of people who were free, who were made slaves? Excuse me, because we ain't the descendant of no slaves. We were the descendant of free people. who were made slave because of something that they did wrong. And we have been the inheritors of that chastisement because we were born into the sin of our fathers. We inherited their crookedness as a sign and as a curse to who we would be in the places of our captivity when everything about us would be stripped from us. Are y'all seeing the connection? Okay. Now we are waking up to our sin against the Most High. Now we are waking up to our transgressions. Now we are waking up to our iniquitous ways. Now we are moving into correction for real. Now we are beginning to see the light. Now we are beginning to cleave to the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High again. Now we are getting ready to be gathered up from the four corners of the world and placed back into our land that was given as an inheritance to our forefathers. That was given as a place to Jacob, whose name was turned into Israel. I hope y'all are seeing the correlation because it's fun for me. It's fun for me, even though I'm the descendant of people who were enslaved. It's fun for me now because now it's all making sense. Now it's all coming together, and I can see, wow, okay, the Most High really never left us. The Most High really have a hand on us. That's what's up. The Most High really have a hand on us. But now we have to continue to move toward and seek the face of the Most High. If we're going to really receive what we're supposed to receive in this day and age, if we're going to be inheritors of the new kingdom, now we have to do the work, y'all. We must. All right. So let's begin at verse 12 of Isaiah chapter 59 again. For our transgressions are multiplied before thee, and our sins testify against us. For our transgressions are with us, and as for our iniquities, we know them. In transgressing and lying against Yahweh, and departing away from our God, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Now, when we were supposed to be judged soundly and receive right justice, now in these courts that are not established by the Most High, the courts of our oppressor and the courts of our enemies, now they seek to destroy us daily in these courts. Now there is no jury that will benefit us. There is no jury of our peers. Okay? Now the courts are overrun by the enemy to us, the people who hate us, the people who hate the Most High. And they have taken it on full swing with it. That's why we see no justice, and that's why we see no shalom, no shalom, no peace. Okay? And we're not going to see any peace in the place of our captivity, but we will see justice one day. And that justice will come in the form of the destruction of this system and this civilization. And I know a lot of folks don't like to hear that. Again, let me put out my what has this been, a 30 every 30 minutes, an hour disclaimer? There are going to be some things brought out through this lesson that some of us do not like or want to hear. Okay? There's going to be some hurtful things said, but not because I find joy in saying them. Not because I'm bitter, not because I'm angry. You will never see your brother Truju cussing you out on the screen. You'll never see me screaming at y'all and going bananas and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay? This is a very serious thing and day that we're in. But I'm not going to allow that type of energy to dim the light that has been placed in me. Okay? It's not happening. So even though I say some rough and tough things, you just got to understand that these things must be said for clarity. Okay? All praises to the Most High. All right? So let's continue. Verse 14 of Isaiah 59. And judgment is turned way backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself prey. And Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. See, today, me getting in front of y'all and speaking this way, Oh, I make myself a prey. I make myself a prey because evil is the doctrine of the day. Evil and miscreantism is the energy of the day. Oh, if I'm not out here on YouTube turning up, if I'm not on YouTube at the strip club going live at the strip club, if I'm not on YouTube talking about shooting and killing my brothers and killing the ops and sliding on the ops and whipping, dipping and slipping and tripping, if I'm not talking about our sisters and our women as B's and H's and all this stuff, if I'm not out there telling my people to get ratchet and act a fool, and I'm coming like this, I make myself a prey. I'm an oddball. I'm a black sheep. Now I stand out in ways that this modern day world does not find pleasure in. Now I'm calling forth all of our sin. I'm bringing forth what's being brought forth through me is the recognition of our transgression. Oh, brother, don't be talking about that. You on the live stream just now as I was scrolling through YouTube. I said, man, let me see what this brother talking about. He talking about turning up. About turning up. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, brother. No. Don't tell me about no sin. Don't tell me about no transgression. Don't tell me about no law of the Most High. Because then I know in my deepest recesses of my soul, if I hear even a word of that, now I'm going to be held accountable to what I heard. I'm not ready for that, bruh. I was actually just getting ready to go to the strip club tonight. It's Saturday. I'm supposed to be turning up. I don't want to hear none of that. Don't put none of that on my conscience, bruh. So now I'm going to pray. And other brothers who are doing what I've been called to do and what we've been called to do are pray. Because we live in an evil day. But it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Verse 15 of Isaiah 59. Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself a prey. And Yahweh saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. And he saw that there was no man, and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness, it sustained him. For he put on righteousness as a breastplate, and an helmet of salvation upon his head. And he put on the garments of vengeance for clothing, and was clad with zeal as a cloak. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay. Fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the islands he will repay recompense or recompense. So right there in verse 18, we're beginning to now warm up. First, we were talking about the Israelites in verses 1 through 17. This is the Israelites. We defiled the ways of the Most High. We moved in the ways of the Gentiles by transgressing the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High and the ordinance of the Most High. Okay? We are quick to do evil, making haste to shed innocent blood. Our thoughts were thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction were in our paths, as we just read in verse 7 of Isaiah chapter 59. But now something happened. When we were placed into captivity and placed into our enemies and adversaries' hands, there's something that's going to take place to the enemies and adversaries. We just read in verse 18 of Isaiah chapter 59, now according to their deeds, accordingly he will repay. Fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies. To the islands he will repay recompense. Now, who are these islands? Who are these islands that are spoken of? To get the islands, now we're starting to see he's talking about the Gentiles. How do we know this? Well, where's the first time we hear about the islands? That's in Genesis chapter 10. Let's get it. Okay. Genesis chapter 10, verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were born sons after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarma. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. Those same sons that were mentioned in Genesis chapter 10, verses 4, are going to be referenced in these chapters that we read in Isaiah. This is another reason we know the Gentiles are not the children of Israel, and the children of Israel are not the Gentiles. Verse 19 of Isaiah chapter 59. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion. Excuse me. And unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh. So who is the Redeemer? The Redeemer is Yahshua HaMashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay? The Redeemer is the Redeemer of Israel. Okay? Unto Yahweh, the Most High. Okay? We just read it. Verse 20 of Isaiah chapter 59. And the Redeemer, aka Yahshua Mashiach, shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh. Now, what is transgression? Transgression is the breaking of the law, statutes, and commands. Who were the law, statutes, and commands given to? Jacob, the house of Israel. Okay? That is why, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahweh, was spoken. Okay? My covenant with them, saith Yahweh. Who is the Israelite people, the house of Jacob? Let's stay in context. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahweh. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in your mouth, shall not depart out of your mouth, nor out of the mouth of your seed, nor out of the mouth of your seed's seed, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. Woo! That's heat right there. That is fire. That is what you call a two-edged sword. Okay? That is the word of the Most High. And that saith Yahweh from thenceforth and forever. So, even in the places of our captivity as Hebrew Israelite people, we would still be reminded of the covenant, and we would still deliver the word of truth according to thus saith the Most High. Okay? These are the tenets of the word that are very important, because of the Gentile Christians who are not children of Israel by blood descent, or they're not children of Israel, period. The Gentile Christians, they erroneously taught us, or was sharing their perspective on the scriptures to us while we were enslaved, not knowing their language. Okay? Confounded and in great vexation. Okay? It is only recently, a recent phenomenon, that our people, and I don't mean recent as in today or yesterday, okay? But over, let's say it's 2023, I would say since the late 1800s or so, and then you had those of us who were in the plantations who still had genetic remembrance of who we were, doing our best to keep certain songs and certain names alive within our well, can we even call the plantation a community? But maybe. But this is being propagated throughout the world now. The awakening, the truth of who we are as a people, and it's stirring up a lot of folk. It's stirring up a lot of folk, and we have to relearn according to the actual scriptures. Okay, our pastors, or the pastors in these churches, ain't gonna tell us the truth. Okay, they simply not gonna tell us the truth, because the truth means that our redemption is near. And most of these pastors and preachers, the majority of them, they seek the fruits of this world. They still want to live the American dream. They still want those private jets. They still want those collection plates passing around. The pastor not even going to tell you that the tithes are to go to the Levitical priesthood. A lot of these pastors today are not even Levites, sent increase, a tenth of the increase of the field to be given. The tenth. Okay. My connection is unstable right now. Y'all give me a moment. Okay, y'all. The connection was unstable. Excuse me. We got a little overcast coming in this evening. Okay. So please excuse for that discrepancy. But the pastors and priests are not even telling us the truth as their congregation that, hey, y'all, tithes are really supposed to be in the form of grains and livestock. Okay. Okay. Not in the form of something you already getting tithe from, getting taxed on. Because when we were in our land, that was the form of tax, if you want to consider it to be tax. It was the tithe given to the Levitical priesthood. And the Levites needed that food and that increase because they were so busy tending to the Torah, the Tanakh, the scrolls, the Torah, the scrolls, the law. Okay? Yeah. Peace, brother Ken Carlton Way. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom to you, brother. So this is a prophecy. I have put my mouth, and my words which I have put in thy mouth shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. Now we're seeing that prophecy come true in all of the men of Israel, shouting and crying aloud, spreading the truth according to thus saith the Most High. All right, let's go on to chapter 60 of Isaiah. We're going to be getting deeper into who the Gentiles are, or actually, we're going to be getting deeper into the role of the Gentiles. Okay, let's get into it because this is the part that's going to hurt some folk. Okay, and this is also going to prove that Israelites are not Gentiles. Okay, yes, many of us being in this captivity have walked in the ways of the Gentiles, okay, in our ignorance, in our stupefied mindsets, but we are not Gentiles by blood. And this is why we have to be able to delineate betwixt the two. Who are you first, according to the blood? Are you a Gentile according to the blood, or are you an Israelite according to the blood? Okay. And if you're an Israelite in modern day times, according to the blood, 9 times out of 10, you were born in a place of your captivity. And seeing as you were born in a place of your captivity, 9 times out of 10, a portion of your life, you would have been walking according to the ways of the Gentile, a Gentile. Okay. So let's continue. Hold on, y'all, as the connection has to reset. Okay, if this is going to keep on happening with the reception, I'm going to keep on reading and we're going to get deeper into this as Most High wills. Chapter 60 of Isaiah, or Yeshayahu, verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. Now we are starting to see the children of Israel, the men of Israel, awaken, and this is never going to stop. What you see with all of the camps on the streets, in the highways, in the byways, in the hedges, it's not going to stop. What you see on YouTube when you're scrolling down your YouTube and you just want to look for the highlights of the football game, and you see a brother like True Jew going live talking about Israelites are not Gentiles, they're coming out with all these different biblical lessons, scriptural lessons, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's only going to increase because now the light has come. Okay, the light is shining brightly now. Now we have a light in the darkness. Now many of us are no longer stumbling in the noonday. Now many of us are not groping the wall as the blind. Now we know which way we are going. Now we are truly walking on the path of righteousness, not for our sake, but for the sake of the Most High Yahweh. Okay, through Yahshua Mashiach, by Shem Yahshua Mashiach. Okay, in the name. Okay, now we are returning to our heritage. Now we are returning to our language. Now we are taking our holy names back. We are walking in our new names, and the new name is actually our original name. Many of us, once again, I said we won't get too deep into reincarnation, but many of us are here again. Okay. And this name that we have today, Julian, that's not my real Hebrew name. That's not my name. My true name is written in the book of life. Our new name is really our name that we originally was given. But in this captivity, we're known as Paul. We're known as uh, Lester. We're known as William. We're known as Billy. Oh, snap. We wasn't known these names originally. We had Hebrew names. Okay. Yes, all praises. Okay. So let's keep that in proper context. All right. So verse 1 again of Isaiah chapter 60. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. And gross darkness the people. But we got a problem with the connection again, family. If y'all can hear me, we're gonna get through it though. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. Hey, can y'all do me a favor? Let me know. All right, family, I think I'm back, but can y'all do me a favor? Next time the connection messes up, can y'all let me know if y'all can still hear me? Because just because it's a poor connection, it might not mean that y'all don't hear me all the way. Okay, so just help me out with that, because I'm still troubleshooting this thing out here in the country when it comes to the reception doing what it's doing. Okay, so please forgive me for that. Thank y'all. Thank you, bro. So look, verse 2 of Isaiah chapter 60. Actually, let's just go back to 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. So remember earlier, I made that statement. You need to be moving in such a way as a man of Israel that people ask you, man, who are you? Why are you walking the way you walk? Why you talk the way you talk, man? I done seen all kind of people pass by me today, but brother, it's about you. You stand out. And people begin to inquire about you. Why are you walking and talking the way you do? Why are you moving in such an upright way? And you can tell them, you are the Yehudim, you are the true children of Israel. You have finally awoken up to who you are, been awakened to who you are. And now you have repented and you are cleaving unto the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. That's why you walking and talking the way you're talking now. They're going to see that light and they're going to inquire about that light. Okay. And many nations, many people, not even your own, are going to seek to cleave unto that light, because there will be some people who do not want to do the ways of evil. The world is covered in darkness. The earth is covered in darkness, and gross darkness the people. That darkness is a refusal to see the scriptures in their truth. That darkness is a refusal to adhere to Torah. Okay. And because of that, the world is in gross darkness and wickedness and evil right now. Okay. But the day is here that Yahweh is rising upon us. The glory of Yahweh is showing through us. The glory of the Most High is showing through the prophets and saints of today. Okay. And the Gentiles, verse 3, shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your rising. Uh-oh. Now we starting to see, wait a second. First, we was talking about Israelites and true Israel. Now the Gentiles are starting to inquire about the true Israelites. What's really going on, y'all? And this is why, as Israelite men, when we begin to teach, we mustn't teach with the bitterness of our chastisement and punishment. We must not teach with the anger of our punishment. The message will be dimmed. Our light will be dimmed if we teach that way. Okay? It will be. It will turn people away from the truth instead of drawing people in. When a mosquito or a moth, when a moth sees the light, it is attracted to the light. It is attracted to the warmth of the light. It is attracted to the brightness of the light. But if that light is dimmed and that light is covered, the moth is going to go to a different source of light or miss out on the light altogether. And it is the same way with us. If we allow our lights to dim, those who would be attracted to its brightness and warmth will be turned away elsewhere or to nothing at all. And that is when the darkness covers the earth and the people. We must shine the light brightly. Now listen up. This is where it gets a little woo wee. All right. Verse 4. Lift up thine eyes round about and see. All they gather themselves together. They come to thee. Thy son shall come from far, thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. Why are our sons and daughters coming from far? Because we have been scattered to the four corners of the world. Okay? Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged. So the day is going to come when Gentiles are going to flow with Israelites. Huh? A lot of people don't like to hear that, but we're not even into it yet about how that flow is going to look in the new kingdom. Okay? So we're going to get to it. Just be patient. The same way we brought out earlier that we have borne the crookedness and the sin of our forefathers, the Gentiles will have to bear the crookedness and sin of their forefathers as well. Okay? And I'm going to say this. We borne the sin and crookedness of our forefathers in captivity in this satanically ran kingdom. But the Gentiles who cleave to us and who adhere to Torah, they will have to bear the sin and iniquity of their forefathers in the new kingdom under Yahshua Mashiach. So the way we were put in chattel slavery and totally attempted to be destroyed physically and spiritually, in this kingdom ran by Satan, the Gentiles are not going to be destroyed physically and spiritually in the new kingdom, but they are going to have to serve Israelite people in the new kingdom under Yahshua Mashiach. And that's the part folks don't be liking to hear. But that's how the Gentiles are going to bear the iniquities of their forefathers. So all those so-called white folks who run around saying, well, it wasn't me. Hey, Tyrone, I wasn't the one who enslaved your great-grandfather. I'm living the way I want to live now, and I don't have a hatred bone for anybody. I love all people. Come on, I didn't do that. Why are you telling me that I'm not going to have a chance in the new kingdom? Oh, no, you're going to have a chance in the new kingdom, but it's going to be hierarchy. It's going to be order, and it's going to be justice. And this is the part that folks don't be liking to hear. There's people who are Hebrew Israelite of our own people who don't like to hear that. Okay? There's people of our own people who don't, yeah, Brother Ken Carlton Way, but this is why you have to stand firm as a man of Israel. And see, there is going to be justice for us. And that justice doesn't have to come across as hatred or bitterness. That's the fun part. See, when we remove our hatred and bitterness as men of Israel, and we just accept our chastisement as decreed from the Most High through the nations over us, then we can identify that when the new kingdom comes and we return as heirs with Yahshua, we will now be ruling over the world and the Gentiles will have to serve us. That's the justice. That's the justice. That's how it all comes back around. And the more that Gentile people and Israelite people can hear the true message about this and the prophecy as it pertains to the new kingdom, I think and feel the more comfortable folks will be, with just accepting their role. It's all about roles and placement. Okay. We were supposed to be the top of the earth until our forefathers fell into sin and transgressing the Most High's law, statutes, and commands. And we were made the bottom. We were made the laughing stock of the world. We were made bywords. We were made scourges on the earth. Everything about us was flipped. But in the new kingdom, everything that was flipped in this one is going to be flipped and turned around. And so I'm happy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. And it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. But if we don't know the truth, it's going to be a problem because we're going to be believing falsehoods. How are the children of Israel Gentiles, but then the children of Israel, as supposed Gentiles, are going to be serving other children of Israel in the new kingdom? Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. So where are the real Gentiles going to be? That doesn't make sense. The children of Israel will always be the children of Israel. It's just so that the children of Israel, a lot of us in captivity, and the reason we push into captivity is because we want to have Gentile-like minds and do the ways of the Gentile. But that did not make us a Gentile. I can copy after Chinese people all day, but that's not going to make me no Bruce Lee. That's not going to make me Shang Tsung. That's not going to make me Chinese, no matter how hard I try. I'll just be a Chinese talking, Chinese acting Hebrew Israelite. Okay? So I need y'all to see what's really going on. In the same way with the other nations. Just because a British person or a Grecian person by blood descent walks around and wants to do Torah, that's not going to make them a Hebrew Israelite by blood. That's going to make them a Gentile who seeks the truth of Torah and wants to live like a Hebrew Israelite person in concordance with the Most High's law, statutes, and commands. But that's not going to make them a Hebrew Israelite by blood, no matter how hard they try. And this whole idea given to us by the Gentile Christians has really clouded our thinking. And this is why the men of the Most High must study to show ourselves approved and rightly dissect the word of truth and deliver it back as a light unto the world. It's fun, y'all, but it's not difficult to understand once you break the scriptures down in the right way. All right? And we don't have to be angry and mad. As a matter of fact, a lot of what we see from the Gentiles today is to provoke us to jealousy, as the book of Romans chapter 11 tells us. We are the true branch. We are the fruit of the tree. But there will be Gentiles who are grafted into the tree. Don't be mad at that. It didn't even have to be like that if our forefathers didn't sin. And even out of Egypt. I won't learn this at TD Jakes. No, brother, you sure won't. Even when we left Egypt, there was a great multitude cleaving to the house of Israel. When that first Exodus, it wasn't just Hebrew Israelite people leaving leaving Egypt. It was all sorts of people who saw the power of Most High and was like, hey, we need to rock with these folks. We need to go with y'all. But they were still Gentiles. Don't you know it's going to be like that for the greater Exodus as well? A lot of Gentiles are going to be the ones who the Most High uses to bring us into the new kingdom, into the land. Let's get it and let's prove it. Verse chapter 5 of Isaiah chapter 60. Let's get it, y'all. Then thou shalt see and flow together. Gentile and Israelite gonna flow together. And thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. Did y'all hear that? We're talking about Gentiles converted into the ways of the Israelites. Now, it's not going to be every Gentile, because every Gentile ain't going to be converted, ain't going to want to be. Every Gentile is not going to want to deal with the Most High in truth in the Torah and accept their role in the new kingdom. The Gentiles that don't want to accept their role in the new kingdom are going to be utterly destroyed. Now, this is the part that be cutting and hurting, but it's the truth. Okay? On both sides. Because most of our Hebrew Israelite people, we're like, nah, man, we don't want to include nobody else but us. Nah, man. Why they get to come into the new kingdom? I've heard it before. Why they get to come? Hey. Well, first of all, our Most High thoughts are not our thoughts. Okay? First of all. But salvation is for Israel. We just read that. Salvation is for Israel. So what does this have to do with the Gentiles? We're being saved from the hand of the Gentiles, y'all. We're being saved from our captivity. We're being remediated. Woo. We're being remediated. Okay? And that remediation came through Yahshua Mashiach. the true propitiation for the sins and transgressions and iniquity of Israel. That's why Yahshua Mashiach came as a Hebrew Israelite of the tribe of Judah. Are y'all starting to see the science behind this? We have to be able to put this in a proper perspective, or we're going to continue to be obscured in our thought. Okay? Let's keep on going. Verse 5 again of Isaiah chapter 60. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged. A lot of people we never thought would make it. That's right, brother. That's right. That's right. And check this out. Check this out. Check this out, y'all. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee, speaking unto the children of Israel. Verse 6, the multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. Now, who is Midian? Who is Midian and Ephah? Huh? Does anyone know? Who is Midian and Ephah? Like, what does this have to do with anything? Who is Midian and Ephah? All right, let's just get it. Okay. Midian is one of the sons of Abraham, but he is not the son of the promise, Isaac. Abraham had many sons. It was prophesied that many nations would come from Abraham. Okay. Midian is one of the sons of Abraham, but not by Sarai, not by Sarah. Okay. Isaac was the son of the promise born to Abraham and Sarah. But Abraham had other wives and he had other sons by those women. Midian is a son of Abraham and Keturah. Okay. Keturah was a Kemetic woman, an Egyptian woman. Okay. So Abraham had a son, many sons. The son of the promise is through Sarah. That son name is Isaac. But Isaac had a lot of brothers. One of those brothers, not born to Sarah, was Midian. Okay. Midian was born from Abraham and Keturah. Okay. Now, who is Ephah? Ephah is one of the sons of Midian. Okay. I hope y'all are hearing me. One of the sons of Midian. These people would be called the Midianites. Okay. The Midianites are the people who, when Moshe left Kemet, when he was 40 years old, and he left Egypt the first time, when he disbanded from Egypt, okay, and he journeyed into the desert, it was Zipporah, okay, who he met at the well, and her papa is Jethro. Jethro was the high priest of the Midianites. So Zipporah was one of Moses' cousins, distant cousins, okay? One of his distant cousins through the line of Midian, okay, who was also a son of Abraham. Are y'all seeing the connection? So it is those same Midianites in present day who will be used to help gather the children of Israel and bring us back into the lands of the Most High. Verse 6 again. The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. All they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yahweh. Verse 7. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nabaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Now, who is Kedar and Nabaioth? Who are those people? Those people are sons of Isaac's brother Ishmael. Okay, so Abraham's firstborn, Ishmael, had sons as well. Okay, they would be the progenitors of the Arab people and the progenitors of what we now know today as Islam. Okay, Are y'all seeing the connection? So, like we've said in previous live streams, the Arab people, the true Arabs, the melanated, woolly haired Arabs, okay, they are Hebrews as well. The Arabs are our cousins, like legit, real talk. They are our cousins by blood, okay, but they are Ishmaelites, meaning children of Ishmael. Now, Ishmael is not the son of the promise. Okay. Ishmael was born through Abraham first. Okay. But he is not the son of Sarah, like Isaac is, a Yitzhak. Okay. So when you know this history, now you're going to begin to see, whoa, our cousins is going to be helping us get back to the land too. Yeah. They didn't go into captivity. Okay. There are Hebrews on earth right now who did not go into captivity, y'all. Did not go into captivity at all. Okay. Only the Hebrew Israelite people are the ones who were spread to the four corners of earth into captivity. We got cousins looking at us like, man, our fam is still tripping, or our fam is starting to wake up. That's how we know the prophecy is coming true. And they have all sort of wealth, y'all. Even to this day, they are very, very wealthy, y'all. That's a good one. North Sentinel Island. That's a good one, Brother King. That's a real good one. They were totally set apart just for the day that's coming. Okay. Now, how do we know that the Israelites and Gentiles are not the same? How do we know that Israelites are not Gentiles by blood? Now we finna get into this nitty gritty. We read in Genesis chapter 10, verses 1 through 4, who the sons of Japheth were. We also read that Tarshish is amongst them, Dodanim is amongst them. Uh, who else is amongst them? Since we got some new viewers, let's go back because it's about to get more intense. Okay, this is the part that TD Jakes, like Brother K Carlton Way said. This is the part TD Jakes not gonna share. This is the part Crayflow Dollar run from. Okay, we even got our own people who run from what is about to be brought out in the scriptures right now. Okay, so check this out again. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were born sons after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog and Madai and Javan and Tubal and Meshach and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz and Ripha and Togarma. And the sons of Japhan, Elisha and Tarshish, Kittim and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families and their nations. Now you notice in verse 3, Ashkenaz was mentioned, right? This is where Ashkenazi comes from. So those people calling them Jewish people calling themselves Ashkenazi Jews, which is 80%, over 80% of the people Israel today who call themselves Jewish, they are actually of Germanic descent, because in Hebrew, Ashkenaz means German. Y'all might not have knew that who are just joining this live stream. For those of you who support this channel, y'all know very well who the true Yahudim are and who the fake Yahudim are. Okay? Hey, it just have to be said. But back on point. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families and their nations. Keep isles of the Gentiles in your mind as we go back to Isaiah. Now, in verse 9, let's start at verse 7 again. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on my altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. Who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves to their windows? Well, we just broke it down. Okay, we just broke it down. These are all the sons of Ishmael, okay, and the sons of Midian, our cousins, who are going to come and help us get back to the land. They have all the wealth right now. So I know a lot of us are, and how we going, what's this second Exodus really gonna look like, bruh? A lot of us are still in the hood, man. We still in the ghetto, man. Finna get out, man. I ain't even got no car, man. I'm still riding BART. I'm still on AC Transit. Like, bruh, how am I finna get? How am I finna leave the Bay, bruh? How am I finna get out the Bay, bruh? And I'm still on the bus every day, bro. I'm still riding BART every day, bro. I'm still going. I'm still going from point A to B on the ferry, bro. How am I finna get out? Well, our cousins got a lot of wealth. And when it's time for us to be gathered from the four corners of the world, those of us who aren't picked up by the chariots, you're going to have a showcase of wealth dispensed to you so that you can get out and get out how you need to. Yep, they actually getting their feelings if you call them Ashkenazi. Yeah, they getting their feelings because that's what they called themselves. They're known as Ashkenazi, but when we tell them who they are, according to the Bible, that's when they get in their feelings because now we're putting a highlight, we're putting a spotlight on their true descendancy. And they don't like that. It busts out their lie. It busts them out. The same way our people don't like to be told the truth. Just think about all our brothers and sisters getting ready for the strip club tonight, getting ready for the club, getting ready to go have some drinks, getting ready to get out there and act the fool. They not trying to come across this tonight, right now, right before they head out and see something about some truth that draw them in for a moment. And they got to hear about some law, statutes, and command. Our people not trying to hear that either. So it works on both sides. The book of reparation, I meant revelation. Well, you funny for that. The book of reparation. Well, there's going to be a book of reparation too as we keep reading. Watch this. So, and that's our true reparations, by the way. True justice is going to come from the Most High, not any type of reparation that this wicked system could give for us, because it'll never be true justice. They could give us $1 trillion, and as soon as they give us $1 trillion that they print up in their print press, now the dollar ain't worth nothing. Now the dollar ain't worth nothing, but they done gave us $1 trillion or something that ain't worth nothing. That's when I'm gonna be looking. As soon as they start talking about reparations, like what they could print up and give us, y'all, I'm telling you right now, if you get that money, woo, I'm telling you right now, you better buy some land or something with it quick, because that money gonna go, it's just gonna dwindle down into nothing. Okay, but let's get back to the word. Verse 9 of Isaiah chapter 60. Surely the isles shall wait for me. Excuse me? What? The isles? Didn't we just read about isles in Genesis chapter 10? By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families and their nations. That's the same isles, the isles of the Gentiles. Watch this. So how can this be Israelites? It's not. It's Gentiles. And watch how the Gentiles help us Israelites as it's time for us for our second Exodus. Are y'all ready for this? Watch this. Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first. Wait a second. Didn't we just read about the ship? Didn't we read about the people of Tarshish? They are the sons of Javan, Elisha and Tarshish, Kittim and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. So now we know that Tarshish is one of the Gentile nations. Okay? Tarshish is one of the Gentile nations. Let's see how the Most High uses Tarshish when it's time to gather us up from the four corners of the world. Are y'all ready? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring your sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh thy Elohim, thy El, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Woo! On this day, when the sons of Tarshish help the sons of Israel be gathered, there's going to be gold and silver paid forth to the sons of Israel. Woo! Because now, for the first time in a long time, the world, the entire world, is going to see the truth about the so-called African American, the truth about the so-called Negro scattered to the four corners of the world. For the first time in such a long time. for the first time in this modern era. And it's not going to be hearsay. It's not going to be, oh, Kanye West is crazy. Don't listen to him. Oh, Kyrie Irving is crazy. Don't listen to him. No, it's going to be known as fact. And at that time, the ships of Tarshish first will bring our sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh thy Elohim, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Verse 10, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. Excuse me? These strangers are not our people. These strangers are not Hebrew Israelites. These strangers are the Gentile nations. So what did the scriptures just say? The strangers are going to build up our walls. We're not going to build up our walls. We did all the building in captivity. We did all the building in chattel slavery. We built the White House. We built up Master's big house while we also had to build our little shacks and sheds. Are y'all hearing this? When the new kingdom come, we not building nothing. When it's time to build up the walls, that's going to be one of the roles of the Gentiles who make it with us, who flow with us, who cleave unto the house of Israel. Okay? We're getting into the roles of the Gentile. Okay? Only those Gentiles who seek out Torah are going to make it. Okay? Just like 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed for not cleaving unto the Torah, those of the majority Gentile nations are definitely not going to make it. Okay? They will be destroyed in thermonuclear warfare. I hate to have to say it. You know them ICBMs? Intercontinental ballistic missiles with the nuclear warheads on them? Yeah. Remember Terminator 2, the Sarah Connor? Remember when she kept having those dreams and she dreamed that the whole world was going to get blown up? Remember that famous scene in Terminator 2 where she's standing on the fence looking at little John playing on the equipment, and all of a sudden a big bomb goes off in the distance and that blast wave hits her and then she turns into bones and the Gentiles that make it only make it due to the salvation of Israel. Okay? Yeah, the nukes are coming real soon, y'all. They are. But verse 10, yeah, it was heavy. It was a heavy scene. All right, verse 10, y'all, of Isaiah chapter 60. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So see, we're still talking about children of Israel here. Okay? In the Most High's wrath, we got smoted. We got spread throughout the four corners of the world, y'all. But in the Most High's mercy, we are going to be rebounded. We're going to be regained. We are going to be recaptured, if I may. And we're going to be brought into the merciful hand of the Most High. Verse 11, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. All their kings finna be brought now in servitude. All their forces are going to be brought now in servitude. Everything that we see now in this satanically ran kingdom is going to be flipped for righteousness' sake. Everything we see today, everyone who's on the bottom of society is going to be flipped and put to the top. Everybody who's on the top is going to be flipped and get put to the bottom. This is just what it is, y'all. It's just what it is. And this is why I continue, or the scriptures are continually brought through me so you can have the reference to see for yourself. Okay? It's not thus saith brother true Jew. It's thus saith the Holy One of Israel. Yes, if he make it, we definitely be telling them sons of his what to do. Spanked of us, then he is restoring us 100-fold. Thank you, Mama Carolyn. That's what's up. That's what's happening. So it don't do us no good to be mad at Papa for whooping us. It don't do no good to be mad at the whooping stick. It don't do no good for us to be mad at the belt. If we gonna be mad, we need to be mad at ourselves and get over it. Cause ain't nobody seen the shadow of slavery and none of the stuff that we've been through. But why you think we was given the strength to endure through it unto the day of our reckoning, unto the day of our awakening? So that we can make some sense of everything that took place previously and be grateful and thankful abundantly to the Most High for sparing and having mercy on us. We just read that in the Most High's wrath we were smote. For I smote thee, for in my wrath I smote thee. But in my, we are beginning to feel the mercy. But if we still up there, stay up there, and we say, well, look, now I know who I am. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but I still want to go to the strip club and represent being a Hebrew Israelite at a strip club. That ain't what it is. That ain't how that's supposed to go. We supposed to say, now I know I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I've always been a Hebrew Israelite. I just didn't know it. And now that I know it, I need to cleave unto the law, statutes, and commands and seek repentance. Okay. So that's what time it is. Let me read 11 again. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve you shall perish. Yes, those nations shall be utterly wasted. I'm going to read that again because I know what I said earlier about the Gentile nations being destroyed who don't rock with us and don't rock with the Most High and don't accept their role in the new kingdom. They're going to be utterly destroyed. That's what movies like Independence Day is all about. Okay? Except they flipped it in Independence Day to give them the victory over Yahweh. And they made all of the saints like nasty, dreadlocked alien things that snarl and look nasty. What you think the movie The Predator is all about? Predator is the fulfilling of prophecy. When the men of Israel will have to go and hunt, okay, in that final battle of Armageddon. We the only ones with locks. But they make us look nasty and snarl and look horrible because that's how we're going to look to them when it's time for us to put in that work. Okay. I have to say this, y'all. The days of fishing are growing short. The days like this, where your bro Chuju get to sit in the office or sit in my truck and I get to speak on YouTube and share the word of truth with y'all, it's coming to an end. Yes, just like the Avatar movie. All of this is coming to an end, y'all. And I hate to say it, but one day we're going to turn on YouTube and it's not going to work. It's not going to work for none of us. It's not going to work. The messages aren't going to be shared no more on YouTube and Twitter and the Facebooks. It's not going to work no more. It's going to be shut down, y'all. And that's going to be the lead up to the days where this energy that you feel from me right now as a fisherman is going to change. And I'm going to have to go in a straight warrior battle mode. And not just me, but the other men of Israel as well. Okay, so this is the day where you get a chance to fully repent, where you get to really recognize what's going on. And you get to make some sense about this in some sort of peace, in some sort of comfort, in some sort of comfortability, where you have an opportunity to make the connection for yourself. But one day, you're just going to have to get with it or not. Okay? And this is why we go to the byways and the highways and the hedges on the street corners and we in the alleyways and on the block, and we doing our best to wake our people up. Okay? We doing our best to share the word of truth. But listen again. Listen at this. Isaiah 60, verse 11 and 12. Let me drill that part home again because the Gentiles need to understand something. All of those who do not convert, okay, who are not grafted into the house of Israel will be utterly destroyed. That's going to be the justice that all of us seek as so-called Negroes today. Okay. And the moon will not give its light, meaning the power is going off. That's right. Thank you, Brother Ken Carlton Way. That's right. Book of Joel. Come on. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Like Brother King Carlton Way said, Biden gonna be serving us. Yes, if he make it. Donald Trump's sons, all of them in our generation. Oh yeah, if they make it, they gonna be serving us. What's her name? Paris Hilton and all of them, if they make it, yeah, they gonna be. Paris Hilton might be one of y'all handmaids. Can you believe that? You lie. She gonna be happy to be somebody handmaid, but if she not, she gonna be one of the ones who get utterly destroyed. And this is what folks don't be liking to hear. But that's justice. Our justice is being served right now, okay, in the place of our captivity. But once this is done, y'all, and we out and we repent and we restore it back to our place, our original place, we gonna be on the top again, and everything is gonna be reflipped. It just is what it is. It is what it is. Wasn't nobody complaining when we was in slavery, when we was in our full-fledged chattel captivity. Oh yeah, Jeff Bezos. Oh, I like that one. Hey, Jeffy. Hey, little Jeffy. Hey, little Jeffy and Jeffy Jr. Y'all come over here, Jeffy Jr. I'm feeling rather parched today, Jeffy Jr. You come over here and journey with me down this Amazonian river, Jeffy Jr. And you paddle my boat for me, Jeffy Jr. That's right. Little Jeffy Jr. and Jeff. I'm telling y'all. But look, nobody was tripping when we was enslaved. Everybody celebrated it. Everybody. Everybody celebrated it. To this day, people would rather keep us deaf, dumb, and blind to the truth of who we are and the truth of the scriptures rather than tell us the truth and liberate our minds and our thinking and restore us to a semblance of power. The nations profited off of us and our captivity. All nations. So where's justice for that? Do you really think that Yahshua is coming to save people who still haven't paid the justice, who still haven't paid the penalty for what they've done to another group of people? What does that make sense? It doesn't happen like that, y'all. It doesn't happen like that. And I know our people get upset because we still seeing the Mercedes and the Murcielagos and the Ferraris and the G-Wagons, and we still seeing Walmart successful. We still seeing Jeff Bezos and hearing every time we hear a new world's richest man, it's always some Gentile put in our face as if it's just, oh, he's so special, right? That's just, and it gets to us. It gets to us. But them days are shortened. Them days not finna keep happening like that, y'all. So you gotta truly repent and get ready for your true royal heritage and inheritance. And I know, like I keep saying, folks don't be liking to hear that, but that's the truth. This is a true message. So let's continue to go. I'm gonna read 11 again. I'm gonna read 12 again. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 11 and 12. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious. This is why we know this is future prophecy, y'all. Once again, if the Christian pastors and preachers taught this, people's mindsets would be different pertaining to the scriptures and pertaining to us as a people. Okay? And honestly, these pastors and preachers are not doing their Gentile congregations any good by lying to them. This is why, in the time of the end, the Gentiles are going to say, our fathers have inherited lies. Okay? Our fathers have taught us and inherited lies. That's what the Gentiles are going to say. Because now the truth is really being spread and it's no going back. That's why the so called elite are scrambling right now in fear because the Israelite people are awakening. And once we awaken, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Everybody's going to be put in their place. Everybody's going to be put in their place. Okay? They did everything in their power to distract us. We was the best at football, the best at basketball, the best at both footballs, the best at boxing, the best at UFC, the best at golf, the best at tennis, the best at animation, the best with inventing. I'm not just saying these things. Everything to distract us. Everything to distract us. But them distractions is going out the way. Verse 14 of Isaiah 60. The sons also of them that afflicted thee. Oh, this is a doozy, y'all. Because remember, we were talking about justice. A lot of our people today feel like, oh man, these other nations, these so-called white folks, man, where's our justice from them? Well, we not gonna ever receive no justice from them. You think they really finna sign some laws into play that tell us, as the descendants of those who were enslaved, hey, well, we're just gonna go head on and you're gonna make you equal with us now? It's not happening. That's why the Constitution still delineates us as 3/5 of a human being. Why haven't in all the laws and all of the marching and all of the new bills passed? How come um, that constitutional point hasn't been amended yet? How come that amendment hasn't been amended? Because they will never see us as equals. Therefore, we will never get the justice that we claim to want and deserve. Our justice is going to come from the Most High. And ooh, it's a sweet justice. Ooh, it's sweeter than any oppressor or captor could have ever given us. Okay? Let's see what the Most High justice is for us. Verse 14 of Isaiah 60. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despised thee shall bow themselves at the soles of your feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. We are considered property, and that was the Emancipation Proclamation for. Actually, yeah, we're still considered property, Brother King. That's where our birth certificates come from. But the Emancipation Proclamation, it was falsely taught to us in school. Actually, what the Emancipation Proclamation did was, all it did, listen to this carefully, and you could double check what I'm saying. All the Emancipation Proclamation did was transfer ownership of the property. Okay? That's what we're not taught in school. We're taught that President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation and that freed us. No, it transferred property. Okay? It transferred us as property. All right? That's why we're still enslaved to this day. Okay? It just simply transferred the ownership of the property. That's all. And that ownership, that transfer of ownership, it meant that we could no longer be on the plantation anymore. Okay? Now we were to be property of the greater United States of America and not just the slave owners in the South who were part of the Confederacy. Okay? Look into it. Look into it. Again, verse 14. Verse 14 of Isaiah chapter 60. Excuse me. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. All you N's, all you B's, all you H's, all you Negroes, all you blacks, all you porch monkeys. Somebody was just calling us some porch monkeys the other day, y'all. I thought that was done away with. All you coloreds, all you Afro Americans, all you African Americans, all these people that despised us, all these people that ridiculed us, told us we wasn't nothing, all these people that hated us, lied to us, told us that we wasn't nothing and kept our language and our true heritage from us. All those people who raped, robbed, whooped, and beat us. All those people who fire hosed us down. All those people who sicked their canines on us. All those people who fed our babies to them alligators. They all gonna come bowing down to us. They all gonna come bending the knee to us. Because in the new kingdom, we rule over them. Sweet justice, baby. Sweet justice, baby. We don't have to do anything to them. Right now, we don't have to rob and steal from them. We don't have to scam them. We don't have to scheme them. We need to be focused on getting our minds and hearts right back toward the Most High. Because our reward, that rulership in the new kingdom, is going to be eternal. It ain't going to be no more of this flippy floppy stuff. Satan and his little minions got rule right now. You see how they did. We at the bottom of this kingdom, but in the Most High's kingdom, we going to be at the top. And everybody who's at the top now who make it in there is going to be at the bottom serving the rulers of the new kingdom. Who is us? Or those of us who make it. Folks don't be liking to hear that though, but it's the truth. And I don't got no problem telling the truth now. Verse 14, Isaiah 60 again. The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. Those are Gentiles. And all they that despised thee, Gentile Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. See our promise? Now check this out. This one gets me all the time. Remember when Big Mama was on that plantation and her babies was ripped from her and her babies was sold off to the neighboring plantation, but she still was lactating. Her breast was still producing milk, and she couldn't even feed her own babies with the milk that she was producing, but then had to be a wet nurse to Massa and his wife babies. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember the famous picture where you got Big Mama sitting on a stool, and she got one of her breasts feeding a little white baby, so-called white baby, and then the other breast is feeding an Israelite baby. Have y'all seen that picture before? That was happening a lot. That was happening a lot. Our women had to nurse their children. Do you remember that? Okay, check this out. Verse 16 of Isaiah chapter 60. We talking about justice. And this is also going to show that Israelites are not Gentiles. Check this out, y'all. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles. Huh? So you mean Gentiles is going to be nurses for our baby? Yeah. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. I'll read that again. This is Isaiah chapter 60, verse 16. This is future prophecy for any Christian-minded person who is just now joining the live stream saying, no, that's not happening. That's already done. No, it's happening. It's coming. It's on the way. This is prophecy. This is out of the prophets. Out of the prophets, most of the New Testament is quoted out of the prophets and out of the Torah. So if you don't know the Torah and you don't know the prophets, then there's no way you're going to be able to make sense of what's the so-called New Testament. It's not happening. Okay? You have to study the prophets and the Torah in order to make sense of what's being said in the so-called New Testament. Okay? We're still living in prophetic times right now. And the prophecy in Isaiah chapter 60 has not happened yet. Okay? So here we go. Verse 16 again. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles,
and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall be no more heard in the land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. The sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yahweh, will hasten it in his time. So you see, this is future, y'all. This is future tense. This hasn't happened yet, for we have not been gathered from the four corners of the world. We know that when we're gathered, part of the Gentile nations that even help in our gathering, what we just read in verse 9 of Isaiah 60, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. You see, this hasn't happened yet. The Gentiles haven't helped in the gathering of the second Exodus. This hasn't happened yet. So it's something to look forward to. But before we look forward to that, we have to get our house in order. We have to get this in order. Our heart, we have to get it right. Okay? Let's go to chapter 61 so we can really drill this home. Chapter 61, verse 1. The spirit of Yahweh Elohim is upon me, or Eloah, I should say. Elohim is plural. Eloah is singular. The spirit of Yahweh Eloah is upon me, because Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. What are the good tidings? The good tidings are the fact that we're going to receive justice as the people of Israel who have been scattered to the four corners of the world into captivity. Our justice, the Most High received justice over us by placing us in the captivity. Okay? That was justice for the Most High. Now, justice for us, as far as being in captivity, it's not going to come from the captors. It's going to come from us being gathered up in the second Exodus and replanted back in the land and be given the new kingdom to rule the world ignorantly, Jesus Christ. Okay? Y'all, I have an active imagination. I really do. I've always had an imagination as a little boy. But this outside of my pay grade. Okay? I didn't imagine this. Okay? I didn't imagine what I'm reading to you. These are the words of the Most High. So if you have a problem with what I'm saying, that means you have a problem with what the Most High is saying. Because thus saith Yahweh, thus saith the Most High. These are the words of Yahweh given to the prophet Isaiah. Okay, anytime we see thus saith Yahweh, that's something Yahweh said. That's something the Most High said. And if you have a problem with that, mercy on your soul. All right. Verse 61, chapter 61, verse 1 again. Let's finish that. Prodigal sons and daughters of the yeah, that's right. I love that. I love that. Prodigal sons. Papa just took us on in. I got a song called Coming Home, and it's all about me being the prodigal son, but it's a metaphor for other brothers and sisters. Well, other brothers and sisters, yeah, being the prodigal children. Okay. I'm coming home. All you gotta do is go in that playlist on my on this channel and go to the second album, which is really a first album or an album that predates What's the name of that album I just released? I'm off into this. What did I say? Dang, I'm tripping. What's the name of my album, y'all? The one I just released. The one with Coming Home is on I'm Just Saying though. And then what's the name of the other album? What did I name it? Dang, I'm tripping, y'all. Dang. I forgot the name of the other album. It's all good. The newest one. But that ain't what I'm Coming Home is on. All right. That ain't what I'm Coming Home is on. So that's really throwing me right now. I'm tripping because I'm on this. All right. Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1. The spirit of the Most High, or the spirit of Yahweh Elohah, is upon me, because Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Speaking true. Thank you, Baba Carolyn. That's right. Speaking true. See, I forgot. Speaking true. But the most tell us on Shabbat not to speak our own words anyway, not to own pleasures anyway. So it's all good. Thank you, Mama Carolyn. But yeah, speaking true. Coming Home Part 2 isn't on Speaking True. It's on I'm Just Saying. That's on the other album that I included in the playlist. Okay. But that's talking about prodigal sons and daughters. Coming Home Part 2. So verse 1 of Isaiah 61. The spirit of Yahweh Elohah is upon me, because Yahweh hath appointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. Liberty, that's what we seek. Liberty is captives in this place in our captivity, right? And the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Not only the physical prisons that we see in these, our brothers and sisters incarcerated in are going to be open, but also the prison of our mind. Okay, the prison of our mind. We're going to be renewed in our thinking, and we're going to be able to see the truth for what it actually is. Verse 2, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our God, our El, to comfort all that mourn. See, our people need comfort right now because we feel like we ain't having no justice. We feel like justice is fleeting from us. Okay, so our people mourn. But if we're not mourning and crying aloud to the Most High for the sin transgression that we see people going through, it's not going to be the proper mourning. Okay, it's not going to be the type of mourning and crying that the Most High will find pleasure in, because that type of mourning and crying will produce repentance. Okay, if we just crying because another one of our brothers and sisters got shot down in the street, or that judge just let another police go, but we don't know why the brother got shot down in the street, we don't know why the judge is still being unjust, then we still we have the lesson we have to learn. Okay, so the point is we want to learn these lessons, and the quicker we learn these lessons and truly get them, the quicker that this kingdom is going to be done away with. Okay, but ultimately everybody needs a chance to receive the truth. But vengeance hasn't come yet. Verse 2, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Most High, of Yahweh, and the day of vengeance of our El, or God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh, that he might be glorified. And they shall build the old wastes, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. You see, this is how we know it's prophetic. It's not happened yet. The Holy Land, our place, we're still a people that's scattered, and our original land is still demolished. It's not up. It's a desert wasteland. It's not ready. Okay. The new kingdom, that's going to be the hub. That's going to be the headquarters. That's going to be the new Yerushalayim, the new Jerusalem. It's going to be sparkly. It's going to be shining. It's going to be flexing on the rest of the world. You know what I mean? So let's continue. But this is prophecy. We're going to start hearing about strangers and Gentiles again. Verse 5. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. The sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. You see, so I wasn't being facetious when I said the Gentiles will be in servitude to the children of Israel in the new kingdom. The Gentiles that actually make it into the new kingdom, who convert and follow after Torah, they will be the servants in the new kingdom. Okay? The strangers shall feed your flocks. We're not going to be feeding the flocks unless we're going to go outside and give the flock some grain every once in a while, throw some corn out there. We're going to be too busy ruling the new kingdom with Yahshua. We're going to be too busy being the new governors, the new kings and queens of the land. Okay? This is what I look forward to. This is why I don't have to be angry and mad and upset and bitter and get out there talking about no justice, no peace. No. We need to wake up. Then we will see our justice. Then we will see our peace. The Most High just told us that we will see our peace. Violence shall be no more heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy wall salvation, and thy gates praise. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 18. He said he will make us officers, make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness in verse 17. That's when we get justice. That's when we get peace. But as long as we keep falling into folly, as long as we keep falling into sin, transgressing the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High, guess what? We're going to keep on getting slapped up. We're going to keep on getting knocked down by the oppressor, by the enemy, by those who hate the Most High. Y'all get it? It makes sense to me, y'all. It really does. And in the new kingdom, we're going to see more of our justice when the Gentiles, the foreigners, and the strangers to Israel are made our servants. Oh, don't say that, brother. Oh, don't say that. No. Hey, I'm just telling you. Everybody has a role. The scriptures are telling us everybody has a role. And this is why in the new kingdom, Israelites cannot be Gentiles. And this is why, even in the place of our captivity, Israelites are not Gentiles. Many of us have sought to do the way of the Gentile, but once again, if I choose to learn Kung Fu, that does not make me a Chinese man. I'm just an Israelite who know Kung Fu. Okay? So let's get it. And they shall build the old wastes. Who is they? We already read it. We already read it. The sons of the strangers in verse 10 of Isaiah 60 shall build up thy walls. Okay? And we're going to see what else they're going to do. And they shall build the old wastes. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations and flocks. And the sons of the alien, foreigner, shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But you, men of Israel, you shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. You shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall you boast yourselves. Ooh, now that's the type of reparation I'm talking about, because that reparation comes from on high. I don't want Bill Gates reparation. I don't want Jeff Bezos reparation. I don't want Elon Musk reparation. I don't want it. It got to come from the Most High for me. It got to come from the Most High for me. Shall I read that again, family? Let's read that again, because that made me happy. That made me tingle inside. And they shall bring the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. Who is the they? The Gentiles. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But you shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. You shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame you shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land they shall possess the double, Everlasting joy shall be unto them. So, for our shame, we're going to get double. This government ain't promising nothing for our shame. This government, this world ain't promising us nothing but more death, destruction, pain, and confusion. And for confusion, the Gentiles are going to rejoice in their portion. Their portion is going to be just being able to serve in a righteous society. Our portion is going to be all that we have coming to us in the form of justice that this government and this world would not give to us. Everything is going to be flipped. Okay? Listen, these are the words of the Most High, y'all. And when you have a Christian mindset, it can be difficult to what the Most High is saying because we haven't really been taught this. Okay? It's only when you actually study to show yourself approved and begin to rightly dissect the scriptures that you can see, oh, wow, I have a greater inheritance coming as a Hebrew Israelite man or woman, a child than I could have ever thought imaginable. Okay? And as a Gentile person, you must know your role in the kingdom to come. As a Gentile in this society, you're at the top. You're the head of everything. You're at the top. But in the society to come, you're going to be at the bottom. Okay? And this is what we all need to grasp. All right? Let's go to verse 8. For I, Yahweh, love judgment. Don't get no justice from these other judges here. We wasn't gonna get no justice from Judge Jefferson. We wasn't gonna get no justice from him. We wasn't gonna get no justice from what another name? Uh what's a good one? I want a good one. Judge Goldberg. We wasn't gonna get no justice from Judge Goldberg. She wasn't finna give us no justice. But the Most High loves judgment. That's who we get our justice from. So check this, verse 8 of Isaiah 61. For I, Yahweh, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth. You see? And I will make an everlasting covenant with them. In their seed, speaking of the children of Israel, check this out, y'all. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh hath blessed. We don't have to be going about here worrying. People still calling us N's and H's, B's and Negroes and N's and all sorts of stuff. Afro-Americans, African-Americans, you name it. We done been called everything except for children of Israel. And in the new kingdom, when everybody sees the truth, we are going to be called who we are. Okay? And there's another verse and precept that lets us know that Israelites are not Gentiles. Okay? The seed of Israel is separate from the Gentiles. Verse 9 again, for those who just coming in. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles. The there in that statement is talking about the children of Israel. Okay. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh hath blessed. Verse 10, I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my God, for he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. Woo! He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness. Whew! As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so Yahweh El will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. That's a promise I'm looking forward to. Can't no nation give me that back. Can't no nation pay that to us in no reparation. But in order to receive that, you have to know that you a Hebrew Israelite. You have to repent. of your wrong and ill doing concerning the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Now, how do we know this is going to come to pass? Chapter 62, verse 1 of Isaiah. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. So this is how we know it's future prophecy, y'all. This hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen, and it looked like it's going to happen sooner or later, but it hasn't happened yet. The Most High says what? I will not rest, and I will not hold my peace. So anybody who's still against the children of Israel, any Gentile who is still running around here saying, I'm not finna rock with Israelites, I'm not finna rock with the Torah, then you finna be in for some very unpeaceful times. Okay? Any Israelite who's still stiff-necked, who's still hard-headed, is going to get chopped down too, because that hard-headed and stiff-necked attitude comes from wanting to be like the Gentiles. But guess what? You biologically an Israelite. That's like putting away all of your customs and your heritage to go pick up the Russian customs or the German customs or the Chinese customs, and you forsaking your own. And your customs have everything to do with the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High. Okay? Who does that? Only Israelites. Only stiff-necked, hard-headed Israelites. Oh, what the Most High gave us isn't good enough. I want to be like Bruce Lee. I want to be like Vladimir Putin. Oh, my word. I'm just, I be having to shake my head on the thought. Okay. Verse 1 of Isaiah chapter 62. For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. And thou shalt be called a new name. Woo! And thou shalt be called a new name, which the mouth of Yahweh shall name. These are the promises I'm looking for. Now, do y'all see why I be getting so zealous? Now do y'all see why I get so excited? Dim that it don't get dim, but that shine brightly. Hold on. It's an unstable connection. It's an unstable connection. Now do y'all see why it's so important to me? I be hoping that the importance placed in me rub off on you, and you be like, hey, I want to be like my brother True Jew, in the sense that he got the zeal to want to learn the scriptures and rightly dissect the word too, and teach his family this, because this is what being a Hebrew Israelite is about. And I hope that my light don't get dimmed. I want to be a light too. I got to shine bright too. I want to be excited like him. What making him so excited? We still in the place of our captivity. Why he so excited? Why he walking like that? Because I know the promises to come. I know what the prophecies say. And I know that everybody who didn't had a hand in messing us over, they're going to have to pay. We didn't already made our payment. We making our payment every day in this captivity. It's only until we brought out that the payment has been paid in full. And that's where the propitiation of sin comes from, through Yahshua Mashiach. We like a layaway coat, just chilling on the rack until mama come to pay it, and pay it all the way off and collect it. That's what we sitting here waiting for. We hoping that we are the elect, meaning the selected coat that was placed, that was taken from the main floor and brought to the rack on layaway. Now we just waiting for mama and papa to come back and pick the coat up and give it to us. That's what we waiting on. We waiting to be redeemed. Yahshua got the ticket. He got the receipt. We're just waiting to be redeemed from off the rack, y'all. That's it. And while we waiting to be redeemed, we just talking to the other coats. We just talking to the other shirts. We just waiting and speaking the light of truth. Okay? Verse 2 of Isaiah chapter 62. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness. Oh, they starting to see it now, y'all. The Gentiles starting to see it so much, it's making folks shiver in their boots. Shiver me timbers. It's making folks shaking their pants. It's making folks shaking their socks. People is really looking like, oh, man. Because you got to remember, them Gentiles, a lot of them did what they did to us in ignorance. They inherited lies from their fathers too. What did their fathers tell them? Oh, we just Negroes, we niglets. We ain't nothing. You could do whatever you want to them, harm them, hurt them. They ain't going to do nothing. They ain't nobody. But a lot of them Gentiles wouldn't have done that if they knew who we really was, y'all. That's the point. A lot of them Gentiles would not have done what they did if they knew who we really were. That's what's going to hurt a lot of their hearts. And that's what's going to make them so sorry and so apologetic. I hope y'all are getting this. We going on 3 hours. I hope y'all are getting this. Shabbat Shalom to those who are still in the Shabbat, and happy day to everybody else. And good evening. Verse 2 of Isaiah 62, and the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory, and thou shalt be called by a new name, which the mouth of the Most High, the mouth of Yahweh shall name. Thou shalt also be a crown. Ooh-wee. These promises, y'all, get your house in order so you can receive your crown. Thou shalt also be a crown of glory in the hand of Yahweh, and a royal diadem in the hand of thy God. We are a royal priesthood. While everyone else is serving us in the new kingdom, we are going to be priests unto the Most High, rulers for the Most High. That sounds like justice to me. That sounds like justice to me, especially when we the ones who originally messed up and has to be punished in this captivity. In the new kingdom, everything we see today is going to be flipped. We at the bottom now, but we finna be at the top. And they at the top now, but they finna be at the bottom. And the cold part about it is, though, it ain't going to be no violence. It ain't going to be no unrest. It ain't going to be no incivility. It's going to be just and righteous. The same way that we were supposed to receive a just form of chastisement and punishment while we was on them plantations, but we didn't. The Gentiles is not going to receive that type of punishment in the new kingdom. We're going to be just. We're going to be loving. How? Loving according to the law, statutes, and commands. It's a beautiful thing. That's why we must remove the bitterness. The Most High told us in the new kingdom, it ain't going to be no violence. It ain't going to be no destruction. It ain't going to be no wasting. It ain't going to be no unrest. It's not going to be unpeaceful. It's going to be peace. It's going to be justice. It's going to be righteousness. It's going to be the glory of the Most High. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm looking forward to being that royal and holy priest in the eyes of the Most High. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, I am. Now, verse 4. Thou shalt no more be termed forsaken. Wasn't it the Gentile nations and all those slave owners saying, God forsake y'all? They was telling us who we was right there. We just didn't know no better. Oh, they're forsaken of God. You do how you want with them, little Billy. Them ends over there, they are property. They your property, boy. You do what you want to do with them. They forsaken of God. God don't deal with them people no more. They are property. Yeah, you there. They are. Crazy. But it had to happen that way. And we knew it had to happen that way because it happened so much that even in 2022, the memory of it is still fresh. Why is the memory of it still fresh? Because when the Most High come back, can't nobody run from it. Ain't nobody gonna be able to say, no, we didn't do that, man. That was just 5 minutes out today, man. We didn't do that. You forgetting. I think your memory is gone. No. Y'all know. Everybody knows. And now 2022, you got little Billy. He grown now. He a baby boomer. Baby boomer Billy. He running around talking about, well, man, I never did anything like that. That wasn't I mean, yeah, it was my ancestors, but I mean, hey, come on, guy. I wasn't the one on the plantation. That wasn't me. Come on, guy. Come on. We all have the same opportunities to do whatever we want in this land today, guy. Ah, that's what they be saying. That's what they be saying. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. So this is what's going to take place in the new kingdom. This hasn't happened yet. No one on earth has seen this happen. Okay. Israelites on the top, Gentiles at the bottom. We haven't seen that. We're living Gentiles on the top now and Israelites on the bottom. That's what we see. Our oppressors rule over us. That's what we see. But it ain't going to be like that forever, y'all. And when it happens in the new kingdom, we not going to be like Massa and them. We not going to be ripping Gentile babies out of their womb and feeding them to alligators. We not going to be lynching and hanging and raping people. We not going to be nasty and conniving and wicked and evil, because none of those qualities and characteristics will be allowed in the new kingdom. But we will be just. We will be righteous, and we will be moving according to Torah. You can believe that and know that. So this is a beautiful day to come. But verse 4 in Isaiah chapter 62 tells us, thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate. Our land is desolate right now. That's why we're not in it. Once we got put into captivity, 70 AD, the destruction of that temple by Vespasian, Emperor Vespasian, Roman general, and emperor. Oh, that was a wrap. We got pushed into Africa. From there, we was titled Emo Yokaim. Emo Yokaim. You know what that means? You know what that means? That means strange people, strange person. So can't sneak in a little elbow hit. His workload is hearty. Make sure he has a hearty workload, but do everything in righteousness. Make sure he has a hearty workload. Give him an extra bag of nails. Give him 2 hammers. Okay. Give him 2 wrenches, 2 hammers, 2 box of nails. Give him everything in 2s. Okay. That's what you give old Elon. All right. Yeah, you give him everything in 2s. Since he want to be the world richest man, you go on and make sure he build 2 times the gates. Okay. But verse 4 of Isaiah 62, thou shalt no more be termed forsaken, neither shall thy land any more be termed desolate, but thou shalt be called Hephzibah, 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 and thy land Beulah. For Yahweh delighteth in thee, and thy land shall be married. You know what? I have a grand auntie named Beulah. She passed away, I think 2 years ago. My mom's dad, one of his older sisters, was named Beulah. Okay, so she was blessed with a Hebrew name. You see that? Y'all know, I shared with y'all on my mom's side. I shared with y'all my great-great-grandfather. Name is Israel. His father's name is Israel. My great-great-grandfather Israel was a minister, right? His son, his oldest son is Joseph. That's Daddy Joe, right? Joseph Israel. Okay. So the signs are always around us the deeper that we dig. All right. We're going to our land, the land is going to be married, one with Yahweh. This is why we say, and thy land shall be married. Verse 5. For as a young man marrieth a virgin, so shall thy sons marry thee. And as the bridegroom rejoiceth over the bride, so shall thy God rejoice over thee. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence. So before these prophecies come to fulfill, the watchman must cry out. This is all prophesied to happen. Haven't y'all noticed, if anything, that we are seeing more and more people come to the truth than ever before? Right now, more and more people all over the world are curious about their true heritage, curious about what it means to be a Hebrew Israelite. More and more people are saying that they're Hebrew, and you have more and more of the Gentile nation working through the media to try to dispel this from happening. But it's prophecy, y'all. No one can stop what the Most High is doing. It's not happening. Listen, when I was 19 years old, that's when I was first told I was a Hebrew Israelite officially, of the tribe of Judah. I never seen the brother again in my life. Blessings to the brother if he happened to watch this video one day and recognize my face. But the brother told me right there in Sacramento, I was getting ready to do a sinful show in Sacramento and go on stage. The brother told me straight up, bro, you a Hebrew Israelite, tribe of Judah. I was 19 years old. By the time I was 21 years old, my life had changed. Okay, I didn't get it. It didn't register at first. So I don't expect everybody in the last month or so who has heard this truth, who have been listening to Kanye, Kyrie say that we the Hebrew Israelites. I don't expect it to naturally, I don't expect it to immediately sit in. But the seed have been planted and it's being watered right now. And it's going to grow quick because that Hebrew Israelite seed is strong and potent. It grow quick. But the Most High have set watchmen upon the walls. Okay. And we asked to never hold our peace. It was decreed to never hold our peace. And I'm not holding my peace. This channel is dedicated to awakening the children of Israel up and being a light to the Gentiles who need to know what their role is going to be in the new kingdom. Yes, some things seem harsh at times. Yes, some things seem rough. Yes, some things seem opposite of what Christianity has said the scriptures say. But it's not till you get into the scriptures themselves that you're able to see the truth. And if you don't accept the truth, if a person doesn't accept the truth, once the truth is in their face, then that's part of their free will choice to do that. But blood is off of my hands. My hands are clear. So verse 6, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence. I'm told not to keep silence. So I got to be a pain in people's backside, okay, with this truth. Verse 7, and give him no rest till he establish, until he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. Is Jerusalem a praise in the earth right now? Or is everybody mad at them people over there in so-called Israel right now? Them people ain't praising them people over there. They the fakes, the phonies, the frauds, the synagogue of the house of Satan, the synagogue of Satan. They not praising them people over there. Them people is scourges to Jerusalem not being praised right now. That's a prophetic mention. That's something that's going to happen in the future, the soon future. Verse 8, Yahweh has sworn by his right hand and by the arm of his strength, surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thine enemies, and the sons of the stranger shall not drink thy wine, for which thou hast labored. We're not going to be in captivity no more at this time. We still in captivity, y'all. This is how we know this is future. Everything we work for goes back to the man, right? We get our paycheck, right? First they dock taxes, then they take out insurance, and then we need to put groceries on the table. We not shopping amongst ourselves. Name one black-owned grocery store. I'll wait. We don't have a market to our name. We spending $1.6 trillion annually as of 2022. And the majority of that money is going right back to the corporate owners, right back to the oppressor, right back to the sons of our enemies. We don't own a single market. That money is going right back to Walmart. That money is going right back to Target. That money is going right back into the hands of our oppressors. Okay. Surely I will no more give thy corn to be meat for thine enemies, and the sons of the stranger shall not drink thy wine, for the which thou hast labored. But they that have gathered it shall eat it and praise Yahweh, and they that have brought it together shall drink it in the courts of my holiness. Go through the gates, prepare ye the way of the people. Cast up the highway. gather out the stones, lift up a standard for the people. Behold, Yahweh hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say ye to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed, a city not forsaken. All praises to the Most High. You see, that hasn't happened yet. That's to come. Thy salvation cometh. We ain't received no salvation. So Creeflow, Dollar, and all the TDJ telling you come up for altar call. Oh, you saved, son. Woo! Woo! Daughter, you saved. Woo! All of that. That's like they say in England. That's poppycock. That's poppycock. That's not true. This is not the true tea and crumpets. That's poppycock. That's bullocks. Like they say in England. Ain't that what they say? It's not true at all. Salvation is to come. And behold, the reward is with the Most High. The reward is true justice. Okay? Woo! And they shall call them the holy people. Are we being called the holy people yet? Because ain't nobody calling them Jewish people over there no holy people. Them people not holy. So what's going on? Prophecy haven't been fulfilled yet. And this is how we know it's talking about a future time, a time soon to come. Everything is going to be flipped, y'all. I hope you're getting ready. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of Yahuwah, of Yahweh. Have we been redeemed yet? Nope, we've been reconciled, but we haven't been redeemed. Remember, I just shared the analogy with you of the layaway coat? We on layaway right now. We on layaway. But we haven't been taken off the rack, the layaway rack, and redeemed from behind the cash register yet. Are y'all getting the analogy? The redeemed of Yahweh, and thou shalt be called sought out. Okay? We're going to be sought out. Why? Because we've been scattered through all the four corners of the world. That's why we're going to be sought. Sought means searched. Okay? Our hearts will be searched as well while we're in captivity to be sought out, to then be brought back into the city of the Most High, a city not forsaken. But what's going to happen to the so-called white man who doesn't want to rock with the prophecy? We read that in chapter 63. Verse 1, let's get it. Who is this that cometh from Edom or Edom with dyed garments from Bosra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. This is talking about Yahshua. Everybody thinks that Yahshua Mashiach is coming back with rainbows and coming back with flowers and tulips and coming back with all sorts of hippie hair. He's coming back with what's them things called? Tie-dye and all that type of stuff. He coming back in white garments, and by the time he done, them garments are going to be blood-stained garments. Okay? And he dealing with Edom. He coming to destroy it. Okay? He coming to destroy Babylon. Okay? Let's get it out the scriptures. Who is this that cometh from Edom? Not as a descendant of Edom, but cometh from the direction of Edom. That's what this is talking about, all right? With dyed garments from Basra. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? What's wine fat? Wine fat is another way to say the skins of grapes. Okay? What happens when you tread in grapes and you have on white clothes? If I took a dive in some grapes in a bucket of grapes, all of this white will stain. It'll turn reddish purple, and it'll stain my clothes. and that stain will not come out. At least maybe if you have some soda water, maybe it might come out. I don't know if that same thing works for mustard like you do for wine. I don't know. But I know one thing, with white garments, that wine be staining. Okay? Now check this out. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. You see, this is Yahshua talking about that day of Armageddon, when all of the Gentile nations who refuse to rock with Israel, who refuse to rock with the Torah, they're going to get destroyed. And it's going to be a bloodbath. It ain't going to be nothing like no power pie, tie-dye stuff that we've been taught in Christianity. That's going to be the last moment of any sort of kumbaya. It ain't going to be nothing about no kumbaya at that time. It's going to be more like B.I.B.I. rep your city, who you with. Okay. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. You see, not only is salvation for Israel and justice for Israel, but another piece of that justice is the destruction of all of Israel's enemies. Okay, this is why it's so important to be a light unto the Gentiles as well. Mercy was extended to us. Mercy can be extended to the Gentile nations. Who's going to serve in the new kingdom? Somebody got to serve. Somebody got to help build. Somebody got to feed the flock. Somebody got to tend to them. Okay, that's going to be the Gentiles. We're going to be too busy ruling. We're going to be too busy preaching. We're going to be too busy as the priests of the Most High. We already covered that in the earlier chapters. So we have to be a light to the world in this particular sense of the term world. It's important for the prophecy to be fulfilled. But everybody who ain't rocking with it, they're going to be destroyed, y'all. I didn't say that. Thus saith the Most High. We just read it. Let's get back to it. Verse 3 again, Isaiah 63. For I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in my anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. Yahshua is going to bring down their strength to the earth. Everything that they found strength in is going to be broken, destroyed, and made to nothing. Their societies, their kingdom, everything that they found strength in, everything that they held over our heads, everything that they tempted us with is going to be utterly and physically destroyed. Verse 7. I will mention the loving kindness of Yahweh and the praises of Yahweh according to all that Yahweh hath bestowed on us, and the great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he hath bestowed on them according to his mercies, and according to the multitude of his loving kindness. You see, the house of Israel is going to receive the great goodness. Who is the house of Israel for those just coming in? The house of Israel, the 12 tribes. Okay. The 12 tribes of Israel make up the house of Israel, the family of Israel. So if you are a true Israelite by blood, that means you are a descendant of Israel and you are a member of the house of Israel. I will mention the loving kindness of Yahweh and the praises of Yahweh according to all that Yahweh hath bestowed on us, and the great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he hath bestowed on them according to his mercies and according to the multitude of his loving kindness. For he said, surely they are my people. He said, what? Surely, this is the words of Yahweh. For he said, surely they are my people, children that will not lie. So he was their savior. It don't do me no good to get up here and lie, y'all, and tell y'all half truths. Okay? It really don't. It really don't. Because the truth is so much sweeter than a lie. He has kept track of every tear shed and every cry wept. Amen. Yes, he has. Ashe. These are the fuel of his vengeance on our behalf. Ooh, I love how you put that, Mama Carolyn. The fuel, the motivation, the inspiration for his vengeance on our behalf. Oh, yes. Wow, that passion is considerable. Yes, it's so much passion that, it's so much passion that when we read verse 3 of this same chapter, it really should make people, in this case, I'm going to say frightened. It should make people frightened. Okay, it should make people want to get right. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in my anger. That's a righteous anger. You ever been chastised by a righteously angry person? A person who was well within their right to be angry and do some pain and inflict some pain? Oh, that's a whole nother level of punishment. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments. Look, he not even tripping off changing clothes, y'all. He not even tripping on putting on no work clothes. When I go out in the field and I work, I never wear my good threads. I always put on work clothes because I know I'm gonna get dirty. It's gonna be mud and dirt slinging. It's gonna be stuff slinging. I'm gonna get oily. I'm gonna get greasy. Something gonna happen where my clothes gonna rip. Something gonna tear. Something gonna happen where what I have on is gonna be like, man, I shouldn't have wore this outside today. Yahshua ain't tripping. He gonna be clean garments. Look, this that is glorious in his apparel. Okay. Verse 63, verse 1 tell us these glorious garments. These garments gonna be clean from head to toe. And even still, them garments is gonna be made bloody, red with blood, sprinkled with blood, bloody garments because of all the warfare that's gonna take place. Coming fresh and clean and leaving with soaked and stained in blood. Okay. And I will stain all my raiment. He didn't say a piece of his raiment. He said all his raiment is going to be stained in blood. Okay. For the day of vengeance is in my heart. Woo! When vengeance is in a man's heart, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Ain't no coming back from it. Ain't no talking me off no ledge. Ain't no talking me off no tree. Ain't no talking me down. Vengeance is happening. It's up. It's up. And the year of my redeemed is come. That was verse 1 through 4. But look, check this out. Verse 8, for he says, surely they are my people, children that will not lie. So he was their savior. I hope you heard that. He was their savior. Their savior. Salvation is for Israel. These are the parts that Christianity runs from. These are the parts that our pastors don't talk about. These are the parts that become uncomfortable for folks. Okay. Why? Mama Carolyn, you said it great. He has kept track of every tear shed and every cry wept. Let's prove that in the scriptures. Let's prove that in the scriptures. Okay, because the Most High talking through you right now. Let's prove that in the scriptures. Verse 9. In all their affliction, he was afflicted. And the angel of his presence, saved them. In his love and in his pity, he redeemed them. And he bare them and carried them all the days of old. Okay? In all their affliction, he was afflicted. So every time that whip came down, that was affliction the Most High felt. Every time one of his children was raped, that was something that he felt. Every time one of our babies was fed to an alligator, that was something that he felt. Every time we cried and wailed and wept due to the unjust treatment we were receiving by the hands of our oppressors, that was something that he felt. And tally marks was just being taken. All sorts of records was just being kept. All sorts of pictures, all sorts of notes was being taken. And now, in the day of our Exodus, in the day of the Most High, all of that record keeping is going to be shared and showed to the rest of the world, and the world is going to have to pay for it. The Gentiles is going to have to pay for it. I hope y'all hearing. Verse 10. But they rebelled, talking about Israel again, before the coming of the day of the Most High, and vexed his Holy Spirit. Therefore, he was turned to be their enemy, and he fought against them. Yeah, all the nations were given a head over us. We were the top made the bottom, and now we're at the bottom, getting ready to be made the top again. Then he remembered the days of old, Moses and his people, saying, where is he that brought them up out of the sea with the shepherd of his flock? Where is he that put his Holy Spirit within him, that led them by the right hand of Moses, with his glorious arm, dividing the water before them to make himself an everlasting name? Who are these people? Moses wasn't leading Chinese people. Who was Moses leading? He wasn't leading British people. He wasn't leading Russian people. He surely wasn't leading no German people. Who was he leading? The children of Israel, as well as those nations that made up part of the great multitude that cleaved to the house of Israel before we got to the wilderness, as leaving Kemet, as leaving Egypt, in all fairness and truth. Okay? But the people of the book are the children of Israel. Those other nations wouldn't have had a part in the Exodus if it wasn't for the Most High bringing the children of Israel out of Egypt. Okay? There is no Exodus without Israel, period. Okay? Then he remembered the days of old, Moses and his people, saying, where is he that brought them up out of the sea with the shepherd of his flock? Where is he that put his Holy Spirit within him, that led them by the right hand of Moses with his glorious arm, dividing the water before them to make himself an everlasting name, that led them through the deep as a horse in the wilderness, that they should not stumble, as a beast goeth down in the valley? The spirit, or the ruach of Yahweh, caused him to rest. So didst thou lead thy people to make thyself a glorious name. Look down from heaven and behold from the habitation of thy holiness and of thy glory. Where is thy zeal and thy strength? The sounding of thy bowels and of thy mercies toward me, are they restrained? Doubtless, thou art our father. O Abraham, be ignorant of us, and Israel acknowledge us not. Thou, O Yahweh, art our father, our redeemer. Thy name is from everlasting. What does verse 16 mean? Though Abraham be ignorant of us, and Israel acknowledge us not. At the time when those covenants were made, let's say with Abraham, Abraham was promised a nation, nations of many people, but he didn't know us all by name. Israel was promised to be the house of Israel, the covenant, the prince of the power, okay, with Yahweh. He didn't know all his children by name, though. He didn't know how vast we would be, so they were ignorant of us. They didn't acknowledge us because they didn't know. It's like when you have a great, 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 great grandson or granddaughter, you don't know her name. And she know you based off of the works you do and the way your family will speak about you through the generations, but you won't know who she is. Okay? You won't know who she is. So that's how they were ignorant of us and didn't acknowledge us. That's what that means. O Yahweh, verse 17, O Yahweh, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways and harden our heart from thy fear or thy reverence? See, we're asking the right questions now. Now that you know you're a Hebrew Israelite, now you're asking the questions that matter. Return for thy servant's sake, the tribes of thine inheritance. He not returning for the world, y'all. Christianity teaches us that Most High coming back for the world, the sake of the world. No, I hate to have to break it to you, but even in that hate to have to break it to you, there's still joy for me for what's on the other side for the people of the Most High. Okay, I just so happened to be born a Hebrew Israelite. I could have been born a hippopotamus. I could have been born a hippopotamus, y'all. But no, I was born a Hebrew Israelite. Okay. So we know that Yahweh, the Most High, is redeeming the house of Israel. Okay. This is very crucial to your studies and to your learning. Don't get tricked out of position in this last day of the last days. I know a lot of these words are difficult to conceptualize, even though they've been written for us to actually see in our mind because of the work done on us in Christianity. This is where mercy and grace come in. But we're not going to be able to just stay in mercy and grace and use mercy and grace erroneously and not fix the situation from what our position on fixing it is. Okay. I'm going to read 17 again. Oh, Yahweh, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways and harden our heart from thy fear? Return for thy servant's sake the tribes of thine inheritance. I love that. Return for thy servant's sake. And then, just to be clear, the tribes of thine inheritance. Who are the tribes of his inheritance? Most High tell us in Deuteronomy chapter 32 that Israel and Jacob are the tribes of his inheritance. Okay. So that's why you have to know Torah and you have to know the prophets. You have to know the Tanakh in order to make sense of the new covenant, of the New Testament. Okay. Verse 18, the people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while. We didn't possess the land for long, y'all. We did not possess the land for long, our hard-headed selves. We didn't possess it for long, but check this out. Our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. Nothing has been rebuilt. Yeah, they got some fake stuff over there right now, but we still in the places of our captivity, y'all. People of wow. Our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. Verse 9, we are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them. Rule from the Most High was bared over us. That's why the law, statutes, and commands were given to us, so the Most High could rule over us. And then we were supposed to rule the nations. We were supposed to rule the land, but we messed up. But our punishment is almost done. Don't worry. We are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them. They were not called by thy name. So for anybody saying, no, he's talking to the whole world, who are the only people called by the Most High's name? Israel, Yasharal. Only one people, the Israelites, were called by the name of the Most High. That's it. And that's the truth that was always taken from us and hidden from us. But that again is why Israelites are not Gentiles. Gentiles are not called by the name of Israel. Okay? Whew. Woo. Let's see. We got 2 chapters left. No, we got 3 chapters left. But I'm going to tell you what. Quench not the spirit is what the scriptures say. We have a zeal to continue, keep going. We're going to go and see what we could do around and get into this 4th hour. Let me see something. Oh, yeah, this is great because this next chapter is going to talk about Israel and the fact that we have to recognize our own iniquities if we're going to be redeemed, and we have to repent. Okay, the only way we can repent is recognizing our transgression and iniquitous ways toward the Most High. So check this out. Chapter 64 of Isaiah, verse 1. Oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens. That means tear the heavens. That thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence. As when the melting fire burneth, the fire causeth the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. That's what's going to happen. When thou didst terrible things which we look not for, Thou camest down, the mountains flowed down at thy presence. For since the beginning of the world, men have not heard, nor perceived by the ear, neither hath the eye seen, O God, beside thee, what he hath prepared for him that waiteth for him. Thou meetest him that rejoiceth and worketh righteousness, those that remember thee in thy ways. Behold, thou art wroth, for we have sinned. In those is continuance, and we shall be saved. See, Israel, even though we have sinned, we had a propitiation. Okay, this is the true salvation. This is what the pastors and priests don't want to talk about, y'all. They just don't want to talk about it. I'll read verse 5 again. Thou meetest him that rejoiceth and worketh righteousness, those that remember thee in thy ways. That's why you see an excitement over me. I know I sin. I know I transgressed the law, statutes, and commands. But now my life has been turned around to do the best that I can to recognize my downfalls, to cry out for repentance, and to do the right thing in the eyes of the Most High. Okay, not purposefully living in iniquity. Okay, and that's what we all have to do on a path to repentance and redemption as Hebrew Israelite people. Okay, but we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away. And there was none that calleth upon thy name, that stirreth up himself to take hold of thee. For thou hast hid thy face from us, and hast consumed us because of our iniquities. This is talking about our people, the Hebrew Israelite people. But now, Yahweh, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou our potter, and we are all the work of thine hand. Be not wroth very sore, O Yahweh, neither remember iniquity forever. Behold, see, we beseech thee, meaning beg, we are all thy people. The holy cities are a wilderness. Zion is a wilderness, Jerusalem a desolation. Our holy and our beautiful house, where our fathers praised thee, is burnt up with fire, and all our pleasant things are laid waste. Wilt thou refrain thyself for these things, O Yahweh? Wilt thou hold thy peace and afflict us very sore? So you see, this is why we know this is future, talking about something that happened in the past and pertaining to us in the present. We got to get right. Now, let's get to chapter. All right, yeah, chapter 65, verse 1. I am sought of them that asked not for me. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, unto a nation that was not called by my name. So now we're starting to see, Gentiles is starting to be questioned. Concepts and verses pertaining to Gentiles that we'll see in the scriptures. This is where you have to know the scriptures. You have to know Torah, and you have to know who the Israelites are and who the Gentiles are. How do we know this is Gentiles? Anybody know? How do we know this is the Gentiles? How do we know? Verse 1. How do we know these are the Gentiles? In verse 1 of chapter 66. How do we know? How do we know? All right, I'll tell you how we know. And to a nation that was not called by my name. Okay. Just like we read in Isaiah 63, verse 19, we are thine. Thou never bearest rule over them. They were not called by thy name. Israel, the people of Jacob, were called Israelites because Jacob's name was changed from Jacob to Israel, and the children of Israel bore the name of the Most High as literal people on the earth who are blood descendants of Jacob, aka Israel. the Israelite people of the 12 tribes of Israel, who are still in existence on this earth to this day. Those are the people, we are the people who are called by the Most High's name. Now, anytime you read in scriptures, unto a nation that was not called by my name, that is talking about a Gentile nation or a Gentile group of people, because there's one group of people who were called by the name of the Most High, that's the children of Israel. Everyone else is Gentile. All right, check this out. I am sought of them that ask not for me. What? So it's going to be some Gentile people who seeking out the Most High? Yeah, yeah. Watch this. I am found of them that sought me not. I said, behold me, unto a nation that was not called by my name. I have spread out my hand